no titties in movies anymore, and we only see dicks. Has anyone noticed this? Yes, I love titties. Big old titties.
What's up, you big old plebs showing up fashionably late as always? How you guys doing in the chat? Welcome to CAMELCAST 37 with my boy, that umbrella guy. It took long enough, right?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, no, man. It took like what 4 fucking months to get this to work.
Yeah, dude. But it all worked out. It all worked out. I'm glad it did, man. I've been wanting to talk to my boy.
Yeah, man. I thought it'd be fun. This is the first time we've actually had a stream ourselves, man.
Yeah, we can just talk about redneck shit.
Yeah, exactly, man. So do you sit on your porch and play Deliverance themes too?
Yeah, dude. Naked. Granted, dude, I have like I have old people that live to the left of me, and they are awful. Like there is no HOA, by the way. There's no HOA, but they at the side of anything they'll call the city, like, and try to get like code violations like put on me. And they've gotten 3 so far on me. Just the most random shit. And it's probably because the code violation officer guy is like, fuck. He just shows up and does the thing just to like appease these old ass people. But yeah, and they're trying to sell their house. Basically, if anything is wrong anywhere, they attribute that to not being able to sell their house, not the fact that it's 60 grand over market value. So yeah, that's why.
It's all your fault. Yeah, of course.
They're just old. They're old. I hate old people, and they're French. Why are they here? Like, no, they're literally French. Like, they're not like, well, I tell you, they are like, Monsieur, ah oui, oui. And I'm like, why are you here? You're like 70 in France. So why is you in Alabama?
We're getting a lot of Californian transplants out here. You know, my granddad, he owns thousands of acres out in the really nice land. He nursery farms.
Yeah.
Well, these people bought one of his neighbors died, and these people, they came in from California, bought a home right in the middle of this beautiful area, flamingo pink, fucking flamingo pink.
Flamingo pink.
Yeah, they made a house flamingo pink.
Oh my god, dude! Speaking of transplants, those bitches, my property taxes went up like 600%.
Oh yeah, man, they've been flooding the market out here. Oh, it's awful.
They're all like coming in here, being like, I don't like your lifestyle. And I'm like, you literally left where you're from because it's terrible. And you come here and you're like, I don't like that you have guns, man. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how dare you come here and say that to me?
Well, we're unincorporated. Like, you walk out on the back porch and just shoot off. We have some woods with a nice berm. You just walk out the porch. Yeah, I like it, man.
Well, that's actually when I was growing up. I grew up in this trailer park, but it was like a really wide open trailer park. In my backyard was this giant like mud wall that had trees, and we would just shoot like guns into the mud wall. And like now to be honest, I don't know if it was legal, but we did it because
we did it anyway.
No one said anything ever. But if I went outside and shot a gun now, dude, the cops be here immediately because I'm like 3 minutes from downtown.
Well, we're unincorporated out here. There is there's nothing anyone can do about anything out here.
What does that mean, unincorporated?
We're not part of the city or anything else, so we don't have like a mayor. Like when people, I had these weirdos call the mayor of the city, and I was like, what can they do? Like, we're not part of the city, you dumb fucks. They can complain, but yeah. I mean, we're out here. We're our own thing.
Was it like Amber Heard stands trying to get you?
No, the first time. Well, they tried this again, but the first time I dealt with it, actually, it was the Vic Mignogna people.
Oh, yeah.
They were pretty crazy.
Dude,
Nick,
God, it's insane, dude.
Yeah, Nick had some pretty good stories from them too.
Yeah, I never understood that. So I've hung out with Vic Mignogna a bunch of times and like drank whiskey and just chilled. He's such a cool ass dude. And I remember one of my friends, and I say friend loosely, I was like, yeah, dude, I went yesterday I hung out with Vic Mignogna. It was great. And they're like really into anime, and they were like, ooh, Vic Mignogna, gross. Like, I hate that guy. And I'm like, what? Why? And it's like, they were like, because I heard that he's really unfriendly to fans. And I'm like, You just heard that shit. Now you hate him because he's not. He's the most kind soul. He's such a kind man. It's outrageous.
I watched him when all that was going on. I went to that first Matsuri that all of us went to, and I spent my time watching how he interacted with people. And man, I mean, he is. Of course, he gets canceled because I saw a lady come up to him crying about how she had lost someone that she cared about. He had helped get her through a hard time, and he had a handler at the time because he was being canceled. And the handler was like, "Dude, don't get up, don't hug her." And he was like, "If I can't do that, then I can't be me." And he did it anyway. And I was like, why he's getting canceled right there.
Yeah, because one person, dude, you know what that shit reminds me of? Before I say this, real quick. Shanny. Oh my God. Wait, what the? Oh yeah, it's turned down. Hold on. Let me turn it back up. Shanny. Oh my God. With the first delicious pink boy. Look at this bitch. Appreciate you, baby. I love you. She says, thanks for introducing me to Cody last year, Tug. I have you to thank for knowing him. Yeah, me and Shanny have a 345-day Snapchat streak.
All right, there you go.
It's like my biggest one ever, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know about you, but when I get to like 50, I don't talk to anybody actually on Snapchat, but like 2 people ever, rarely. And when you get past 50, it's like, well, I'm obligated now. Got to do this forever. I lost one time that was like 280 days, and I was just like devastated for like 20 seconds. And I was like, oh, and then I never thought about it again. But that 20 seconds was devastating.
Yeah, that 20 seconds was rough, right? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of that, so Vic Mignogna getting up hugging people, right? Just hugging people. And he gets canceled. Man, I tell you what, like, I've had a Tinder girl over, and this has happened like probably 3 times, but I can just give one example. You have a Tinder girl over, and you're giving her the beans, right? And she's like, hey, slap me as hard as you can in the face. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that shit. Not going to do that. And they're like, please. And I'm like, no, what is wrong? For one, like, what the hell is wrong with you? That's the most important thing. You crazy as fuck. And 2, she, like, at any moment, if I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm not looking for a relationship. She going straight to the police. He punched me. Look at my black eye. It's terrible. And like, what are they going to believe? If I'm talking to cops, I'm like, yeah, she told me to. They're going to be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you come in with us.
Just remember, some of them are crazy enough to roll up a roll of quarters and do it themselves. So.
Oh my God! Or just put some makeup on and then go on Jimmy Kimmel and shit. And the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not even put makeup on. What are you talking about? They'll just be like, you see all the bruises, and some people will be like, yeah, I see them. I totally do.
I see the pixels. I can see it.
Yeah, pixel blur. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, that was garbage. Absolute garbage. And there's still, dude, I saw a tweet the other day, and it was like a bunch of pictures of Amber Heard, and it had a decent amount of interaction and likes, and people were like, I can't believe that Johnny Depp's walking free and got his whole career back after he brutally like beat his ex-wife. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you can't just say things. You can't just say things. Like, it's if anybody watched the court, which we all did, I watched that shit intently. Yeah. Like, if anybody watched it, you can tell immediately, like from a couple of clips, that she was just bold-faced lying about every damn thing. Everything. And then people now, they'll go back and they'll just cite the UK like court ruling. Like, oh, he was exonerated. Nothing happened. He wasn't charged with anything. He was proven innocent. And they're like, yeah, but the UK though. And I'm like, what? They didn't allow like 90% of the shit in the UK trial.
Well, yeah, what they didn't allow there actually was you had to get permission to really go down any rabbit hole, to really take her to task. That's what we saw in the US. Even the US judge was like, yo, that wasn't justice. The UK was not justice because he never got to face his accuser. Yep.
Oh my God. And my favorite part of everything was when Amber Heard mentioned what's her name? She turns sideways, she falls through a crack in the floor. Kate Moss. That's the Family Guy joke. Yeah, so she mentioned Kate Moss or whatever, and then all hell broke loose.
Oh yeah.
And then Kate Moss is like, yeah, he did nothing to me, bitch. Oh, it was over. God.
Well, they were prepared for that because they pulled that in the UK, and they actually said a lot more in the UK about what was supposedly happened there. So they were prepared. You could tell they had prepped it, and they were like, yes, she was stupid enough to do it again.
God, it's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And the fact that she couldn't cry, she was like trying to make herself cry, and then she couldn't. Like she was just sitting there making a sad face, like, and then like hyperventilating, like she was crying, but there was 0 tears. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, what are we watching right now?
Well, what was funny, I like that they brought her acting coach in, and her acting coach was like, "Yeah, her one problem is she can't cry." So it was like, hell yeah.
Oops. It's like Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder. She couldn't cry. Just can't cry, man. Just can't make the waterworks happen. And that was her big fall down. Malik Gurley says tonight's Naked Snake has to be special with the announcement today. Yes, Metal Gear Solid 3 remakes is long, dude. The shot, it needs to be shot for shot. It needs to be a shot for shot dialogue same remake that just looks magnificent and has great gameplay. If they change anything, I'll throw something.
Indeed.
And David Hayter better be doing the voice of Snake. I'm tired of these bullshits coming in and being like, "Wow, we'll do other." No, if it's not me or David Hayter, because I'll only allow me as well, because obviously I would like to do that. But if it's not me, if it's not David Hayter, somebody's dying. It has to be. I'm so sick of like people trying to come in and sound serious when it's supposed to be almost satirical. Like, please.
You know, some of the remake, like Resident Evil 4, though, man, that shocked me. I was like, no way, you're not going to remake that masterpiece. And then they did, and it made it a better masterpiece, in my opinion.
All you got to do is just follow the formula like they did with Resident Evil Remake 2. Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yep.
Just make the same damn game, but add on to it and make it even better. That's all you got to do. And now I am sad that they made it where you can't see Ashley's panties.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna change a few things. They're gonna modernize it, but
not that I'm like I wanted to look at her panties, but like I feel like that's just part of the original.
It is part of the original, exactly. You know, you want it with all the bells, whistles, flaws, all of it.
Yeah, and like when a woman wears a skirt that's short, like she has underwear that exists. I was watching Kiki's Delivery Service, the Miyazaki film. And like when she like falls from the sky, you can see her like little goofy bloomers. And they're not like tight. They're just floopy, loose ass goofy bloomers, but it's like not offensive. It's just life. If I wore a skirt, you'd see my ass cheeks, man.
Well, it's also those little changes there too. They are things that fans notice. And when you tell them, "Hey, I'm changing this," then they hear you, and it gives you don't want to give people ammo, man. I mean, that, like I said, that was a masterpiece of a remake. So why change out the little things?
Yeah, dude, please keep the panties in. Crispy Cracker, I love you, by the way. Thank you. He said, "You seen the MGS3 remake trailer?" Of course I did. Thank you, my friend. Samantha, I love you. I appreciate you. Speaking Jake. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Shanny again says you did. Oh, sorry. There you go. I did the quack. Don't be mad anymore. I love you. Mr. Brawley, two of my favorites. Holy hell. Freaking love you both. Best wishes to Umbrella Fam and Camel Thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Brawley. And mashed potatoes. First goal, boy. What could be better than pickles? Pickles and fight milk. What the fuck? Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you, mashed potatoes. I'm going to keep the pink boy up on there all day. Thank you guys for all your delicious love. That's a fifth of the way to Naked Snake. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you missed out on the pickle thing after Tug's tits. You know, we got Tug's pickle like trending one day. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, I remember that shit. Yeah, dude, I remember the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. It's funny because when stuff like that would trend, it was almost impossible to find it unless you caught it before, like I guess Twitter caught it.
Yeah.
You know, because it'd be there for a second. You're like, oh, and then it's gone. You're like, what the fuck happened? Because like in the title, like a good thing to talk about is the hit pieces, man, because this happened to me too. It was really stupid, but it happened to you way more, where like all the and it's still to this day, by the way, I noticed still like mainstream popular media like Rolling Stones and stuff still just like say that Amber Heard was abused, a victim.
Well, Rolling Stone, okay, it looks like a lot of these different places, right? You're like, oh man, look at all these outlets. But most of these outlets are owned by the same place. Like Penske Media owns Rolling Stone, Variety, Hollywood Pro. I mean, you can just go down this list. And when you look at it that way, well, yeah, I mean, you have 3 outlets with a narrative.
Yep. And the funny thing is that I had a random tweet one day where there was this lady. And she was basically like, every morning, me and my husband drink coffee in our garden for hours. And immediately,
I remember that.
Immediately, as a redneck man, you know, that's been married and stuff, I'm like, well, that's not real. Because unless you're a multimillionaire, that's not real. Like, you guys have to go to work or you have to do something. You can't sit in your garden for hours every morning drinking coffee for some reason. Yeah. So I just retweeted, or I quote tweeted or whatever, and I said I was like, basically, it must be nice to be rich enough to do that, because normal people can't do that. We have to like go do our lives. And she like responded to it and was like, we're not rich, blah, 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 blah. And then like 2 days later, I was in Rolling Stone, and they were like, you would think they called me a professional, by the way. They were like, you would think a professional YouTuber would understand time management and how it's, you're capable of doing certain things as long as you have good time management. I'm like, no one can sit in a damn garden for hours in the morning, but whatever. And she was like, we're not rich, bro. And I went, and people like, I don't think it was me, but a lot of people went and looked up her like net worth and her husband, because her husband was some like BMX star or something. And their net worth was like, just her net worth was like 2.5 million, not counting him. And I'm like, what the fuck? So of course I tweet that shit. I'm like, oh, your net worth. And then people had the audacity to be like, you do realize like $2.5 million is like not that much, right? And I'm like, I will kill myself. Like, because if I had $2.5 million in just assets right now, which I mean, God, dude, I'd be flying across the country, man. I'd be, what the hell? $2.5 million is not the to who? To who? Come on, dude. It was just such a silly thing. God. We sit in
well, that's what I love about Twitter. We can slap fight over anything, but it's hilarious. Like, again, like you're saying, the Rolling fucking Stone, they did a hit piece on you just shit posting a little on Twitter.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out. And it's like, it's the movies, whatever. I enjoyed it. But I see articles every day where it's like fans, and it just says fans, like, fans of the movie. Fans urge Marvel to put a trigger warning on the movie for the animal cruelty. And I'm like, when you say fans, what do you mean? Do you mean 3 people on Twitter that might have said it randomly with zero like interaction on their tweets? Because that's pretty much where we're at now. One person, for what was that one lady? Maybe Reva, I think her character was named Reva in Star Wars. She was claiming that people were coming after her in her Instagram DMs. And it was like 2 screenshots of just 2 messages where they're like, go back to your country, like stuff like that. And then it was like, all of a sudden there's just millions of people that were being racist to this lady. And I'm like, no, that's 2 people out of billions. What is wrong with y'all?
I'm like, read my fucking interactions. Jeez.
Yeah. Dude, I had a dude say he was going to beat me to death with a baseball bat one time.
Yeah. I'm like, I've had a few people be like, what would look prettier on your face? A bullet through your eye. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like, hey, well,
God.
Yeah, nice people, But I mean, that's just, that is, take it how you will. That is the internet, and all its beauty and ugliness.
I don't know how we got to this point, man. It's absolutely insane to me. Like, what did you think? So, you were covering Amber Heard before any of that shit went to trial, right? So or at least in the US, you were covering the shit out of it for a long time.
Yeah.
And then
I covered before the UK trial, actually, for a long time.
Yeah. And then, of course, it goes to trial and your shit explodes, obviously, because it's gonna, because you've been talking about it for so long. Your live stream number is huge. Everything's huge. And when they started actually referring to you in the actual trial, what did they call you? The Umbrella Man?
Yeah. At first.
The Umbrella Man. What was going through your head when that shit happened?
That was surreal, man. I mean, you're talking about the biggest trial that we've had, at least, for a long time. You could argue it's the biggest trial that we've ever seen in our lifetime. I would say, more people tuned into it than OJ because we have instant access now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was surreal, and it was kind of life changing too, because you talk about you talk about that stuff. That trial paid for my house, so thank you.
Yeah, dude. It's like it might have been you or Nick that said this, because I remember you were covering the trial at the same time, but some hit piece was posting how much you earned, I guess, because that's a negative thing. People, making money. But they posted a hit piece claiming all these people made this amount, like law tubers basically made this much money covering the trial. And it was either you or Nick was they looked at they were pulled it up on their stream and they're like, oh, here's how much they said I made. Yeah, I made way more than that. By the way. No, it's just like,
Nick told how much exactly. I don't ever try to brag about money because I know a lot of people have hard times there. But when they're trying to call it out, it's like you have no idea. Those
yeah.
totals. Yeah, you have no fucking clue.
Yeah, when it's because they get it from like some random websites. But man, if I was in that position to where like these, rich entitled like 20-year-old white girl journalists are like making a hit piece on my ass, and they're like, he made this much, and I only make 46 grand a year, maybe, and he made like 280 grand. I'd be like, bitch, I made 600. Eat my ass. Yeah, that's right. That would go.
That's funny. I mean, people like Taylor Lorenz. We found out
Yeah.
that she came from a very well-to-do family, a lot of money behind her, and Internet Archive. One of her relatives owns that. That's why shit disappears. But yeah, those people are complaining about you actually monetizing a trial. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's the craziest shit in the world. It's like when celebrities, shout at, guns or whatever, goofy law that they disagree with. That's always, on the right, obviously, because they're celebrities. They're complaining about it whilst having that privilege. So a better example is politicians. They'll be like, politicians on a certain side will be like, we need to ban this shit. And it's like, but you have like guards that walk around you all day with guns.
Exactly.
I don't have that. And since I can't have my guards, I want my 12 gauge.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I would say that we deal with as much doing this. We deal with as much, if not more, hate than at least your standard politician. And like you said, they have armed guards supplied and everything else. We're not supposed to be able to defend ourselves. Fuck all that.
Yeah, it's like what was that? What is it? It was it during COVID where all these celebrities sang "Imagine" by John Lennon.
Yeah, that was.
And they're all in their mansions, sitting like on the side of their pool, and they're like, "Imagine no possessions. It's easy if you try." And I'm just like, I will kill myself in front of all of you. How dare you? How dare you? It is actually pretty easy to sing that and be like, I'm helping people when you're like sitting in your Ferrari driver's seat.
Yep.
Like, God, it's so ridiculous. It's like you have no idea. You have no idea what struggling is because you've been just so damn rich for so damn long.
Well, they showed people how out of touch they were. That's when Ellen DeGeneres and a bunch of other people, they tanked who they were. They tanked their careers because they sat on that soapbox and they told the rest of us, oh, you need to isolate. If you lose your job, that's okay. You can fall back on your millions. And
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, why is your house so dirty? Why can't you just get your butler to clean it? It's like, oh, really? Well, it just so happens I don't have a goddamn butler. Like, it just so happens I don't have a chef. Okay, can't make me my damn food. And that was the thing that's the one good thing about the advent of social media. I think social media destroyed the world kind of, but one thing about it is it showed everybody, because celebrities would appear here and there, like in a tabloid. You didn't know if it was true, maybe in an actual interview on the extras of a DVD thing, or maybe on TMZ or some bullshit where they're like saying whatever their PR's letting them say. But then you give them direct access to Twitter and they just say the dumbest shit possible. Like Mark Ruffalo, when he was tweeting about, what's the kid's name? Rittenhouse. And he was like, our hearts go out to JoJo and the other guy, and like how, like, basically saying Rittenhouse is a monster. And I'm like, Mark Ruffalo, for one, I hate you. And two, like one of these dudes, and both of them were like felons, but one of them had assaulted small children and was convicted 5 times for it.
Yep.
And and he's like, poor JoJo, me. And I'm like, JoJo deserved him way more than 1 bullet. Like, I'm just putting this out there, so
yeah, if we had any justice in the world, yeah.
Why was he out on the street? Like, that's my thing, is like, why was he not in jail? How do you not be in jail after doing that 5 times? Like, God, it's crazy.
It's because our system doesn't care about male survivors, and it doesn't care about fucking children survivors. That's why.
Yeah. And the insane thing to me is that people will always be like, well, you can say that, right? You can be like, well, I think he deserved to die and he should have died even harder. And people are like, so you're just totally for vigilante justice. You just don't care about the process. And I'm like, A, you don't either when it doesn't go in your favor. And B, yes, I am for vigilante justice when it comes to that guy.
I worked in mental health for a long time. I work with kid. Nobody, fuck those people. You sit across the table from a few thousand little kids telling you the worst shit imaginable. Hell yes. I'm all for vigilante justice after that.
Yeah, and I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's people that can't fathom what's happening. So there's people, and this is just a comparison. There's this one girl, her name's Carrie. She's always in my chat, and she doesn't believe in aliens. And now look, that's whatever, but she doesn't believe in aliens because her mind can only like conjure like 24 planets in the universe. Like even and I can tell her ass. I can be like, there's actually 68 quintup blue blah blah random number that I've never heard before, gajillions. Like the zeros go down like 50 pages. That's how many planets that they likely is in the universe. Like more than every grain of salt or sand that exists on this planet. So laws of averages say there's probably actually billions of planets that have life on them. Like, therefore, aliens probably exist. It's just they can't get here because we are far as hell away. And that's pretty much it. But even if I say that, she's like, yeah, I just don't agree. And I'm like, how can you not agree? This is not a debate. But anyways, so I think people can't fathom is when you say, you do realize Joseph Rosenbaum like did some heinous shit to some children, and it like goes in one ear and out the other. They're like, vigilante justice though is wrong. And I'm like, did you not hear what I said? Like, I would shotgun him if I could have. Like, are you not listening? Like, do you think that's bad? And they're like, that's bad, yes. And you're like, okay, so he should have died. And they're like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? How can you possibly say this?
It also proved, history of violence, all this other bull. I mean, just so much about these people becomes, and this is really what just a random person could run into when all this shit was going on. I kept thinking, there's a bigger picture that's being painted here. We have pedophiles and monsters running amok in our streets, and nothing's being done about it. It took multiple people getting shot for us to be like, wait a minute. That there's a fucking pedophile running around here that did this 5 times. Oh wait, there's another criminal and another. Oh shit.
Yeah, all these people that are being intentionally violent in the protest were all like fucked up felons. They weren't just normal people being like, we need justice and they were like, no, I'm here to break shit. Like, that's why they were there in the first damn place. And people are like, but he went over state lines. I'm like, that's for one. If I go to Tennessee right now, I went to Tennessee today. Went to Chattanooga to pick up an engine from a race car, finally. And I went there and I stopped at a gas station to get some diesel fuel. If a guy would have like pulled a gun on me for no reason, he's like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. Like, and I had my conceal on me. Like, do I no longer have the right to blow this dude away that's trying to kill my ass? I'm confused. Do I lose the right to to protect myself?
Well, and everything's become so much more. It's become a political issue and everything else. And we're really at the end of the day, we're talking about individuals facing individual circumstances. But I mean, if you want to mob somebody, just turn it into a fucking political or a racial thing. Again, there were people out there that thought that Rittenhouse shot a bunch of black people.
They still do. There's still people out there. I saw a tweet like a month ago where it's like you guys remember when Joseph Rittenhouse, or that's his name, first name, right? Is it Joseph Rittenhouse? I always call him just Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes, derp. I'm stupid. So Kyle, Joseph. I was like, oh, that's Rosenbaum. That's the
no. Oh no.
Oh yeah. So there's a plane really close to my house. Oh my god. So yeah. So Kyle Rittenhouse. I lost my train of thought because the plane was so damn loud. There's an airport like right beside my house, and like I'm now completely lost my train of thought. What the hell was I talking about? Oops, Rittenhouse. Something about Rittenhouse. But at any rate, yeah. That whole the freaking tweet. I saw a tweet like a month ago, and it was like, do you guys remember when like Kyle Rittenhouse went over state lines and killed like 3 like BLM protesters? And it's like what saying white, like a white man killing black people in the streets and got off. And I was like, none of that happened. None of those things happened. Now, granted, look, if you went to the first response to the tweet, like they were, let's say they were like, none of this is accurate at all. Like, did you watch the trial at all? No, they never do, man.
Not. No. or of course not. Of course not. Because it's easier to just read a headline and let someone else sculpt the narrative. That's why, that's why with the Depp thing. I mean, we've looked at hardcore a year after that trial. We've looked at a year of hardcore PR spinning. It's just it's unreal, man.
And it's now the good thing is it gives you unlimited content forever. Because shit just keeps happening. Oh my God. Speaking of that, oh my gosh, real quick, let me get this gold boy. Steph B with a Canadian gold boy. I love you, baby. I appreciate you. That is officially 1/5 to Naked Snake. Thank you, baby. You're so good to me. Thank you. And Fire PA. Truth no longer matters on social media. Just push the message at all costs. See what happened to the NYC PA Karen called a racist over a bicycle. Yes, and all apparently. Didn't they find out that she actually had the receipt?
Yeah, they actually. What's crazy is apparently the sister of the aggressor we're finding out came out and provided us exact times, and you can tell. Yes, she had she actually had the bicycle. She had pulled it out. That it ended up getting clipped back in, and then I mean, again, they proved they came out, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
No.
Yeah.
That no one cares. And that's just something you can't avoid. But now, granted, I think a lot of people are kind of I say this all the time, but I feel like the tide is slightly turning to where people are starting to not give a damn. Right. So if, for example, if I did anything, like for example, I've been shitting on The Little Mermaid a lot just because it's trolly and funny because I like to. It's great. I mean, the CG looks terrible. It looks terrible. The Scuttlebutt song almost made me throw up.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe that was real. Did you not think that was fake the first time you heard anything?
When I heard the 6-second excerpt where it's like, give me a wow in the swine. I was like, this is definitely fake. Yeah. And then I went and found it on the whole song on Spotify. And it was real. And it's just terrible the whole time. And then she just starts rapping. And I'm like, why would this be in The Little Mermaid? But at any rate, I've been shitting on it a lot. And I tweeted that she looked like Sid from Ice Age like 2 months ago. Haley Berry, because her eyes are kind of far apart. And she's a very pretty lady, but it was a shit post. And it exploded. Like it was everywhere. And my quote, I had like 2,000 quote tweets on it. And it was just everybody's calling me racist. And I'm like, what? How? For one, black people their eyes aren't far apart. Hers is, not black people, just hers. Like, I've seen a lot of black people that don't have eyes far apart, as Sid from Ice Age. I'm like, why am I being called racist? It was insane. And that's one thing I've never understood is, jumping right to that. But like I said, I think the tide's kind of turning to where people give two shits now. Because I don't care. Like, I know that I don't care what color you are, as long as you're cool and you're nice to me. I don't give a fuck. None of that matters to me. So like if somebody calls me that on Twitter, it rolls right off my shoulders. I don't give a fuck. And I think a lot of people are starting to get to that point where they just don't care.
No, even the normies are getting to the point. Where they're like, no, not even.
Yeah. That and I think I think what is attributing to it slightly is like Bud Light and all these ad campaigns hitting the masses because we use Twitter a lot. And, it's a big part of our, I guess our networking and social media activity. But there's only like 1% of the US is on Twitter. So when we see shit all the time, we're like, I can't believe people are not more outraged. But then the Bud Light thing and then the Target thing and all this shit is hitting everyone. And then now everybody's like, wait a second. This is awful. What is happening,
Well, I think what really fit into that outrage, you wouldn't have as much outrage about something like a Target, for example, if it weren't for the books that we're seeing in our schools. When you see a book shop to, I love how they say middle schooler, by the way. Let's say it a little different. Let's say 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking. 10-year-olds. When they're telling them about, shit eating, like that was in that book, when they're telling them about, some just awful stuff.
Yeah. I saw the books. It was like sometime, oh my God, what was one? It was all, I don't even like freaking thinking about it, but it was one where it was like, two men. And it was like, sometimes like you want to like touch each other, like like in your area, and then sometimes you can use your mouth. And I'm like, why is this? This is a children's book. What is this doing?
Yeah.
What is this? Why does this exist? We don't need to know about this. Like, God. And it's not because it's like gay or anything, you know. It's because if I was 9 years old and I went to the library and opened a book and it was like, put your wee wee in her ass and she'll probably like it. And I'm like, what? Like, I would still be confused. I'd be like, why is this here? You know?
My daughter is going to be 10. My daughter, is in the boys icky, all of that. None of this stuff is in her
Yeah.
mind. Thankfully, shouldn't be. Ever shouldn't be. My kid's homeschooled, by the way, because I'm not putting my kid in with a bunch of. You see how many fucking pedophile teachers there are? I'm not putting my kids into that. And then they're throwing these books in. If a regular person were to give a kid a book like that, you'd go to jail. But if a teacher does it, they're applauded.
It's insane. They should all be fired immediately. Now, granted, look, high school is different, but when I was in high school, the biology teacher, she was like 21 and she was kind of hot. Thinking back, she probably wasn't, but I was a kid, so it didn't matter. And she was actively having sex with like half the football team, and they were like 15. She eventually got fired like 4 years later when I was like in my 20s. And I saw it on freaking Facebook or something. It was like, yeah, so-and-so was fired for having sexual relationships with several like children or high schoolers or whatever. And I was like, damn. And that's probably way more prevalent than we let on, because those are the people that are getting caught. Right.
Yeah.
Oh God. It reminds me of that one movie where they were going through, like, there was this one guy and he was played by Robert Downey Jr. Or no, he was just one of the characters. I can't damn remember. Anyways, he's investigating like the Catholic Church in like Boston because he's suspicious of this like one guy like assaulting children or something. This one priest, and then it turns out it's like thousands in just that small area. Thousands of priests are doing it, and it like blew the whole country wide open. It was like, I don't know when it was, but there's a movie about it, and it reminds me of that. How many teachers are actually doing this? Because we see it every day on Twitter. Now, if you're a woman, it's okay for some reason. You'll just get fired, But as a guy, yeah, you're fucked.
Actually, a lot of them are media darlings. So remember that, you remember that, I can't remember her name that came out. She went after DeSantis because of COVID stats. She was supposedly a leaker and this. Well, it turned out that, she had sex with students, and she threatened one of their, now these are college students still, but still, so having sex with your students, it's not the same thing, but it kind of is. I mean, you got that position of power, privilege. Well, she ends up threatening their roommate, telling him, "You'll be quiet about this or else." Then after she gets fired, she ends up stalking this guy. I mean, she puts out nude pictures of him, all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, now she's a fucking media darling, though. She's an absolute media darling because she stood up against Ron DeSantis.
How many years did she get in prison?
Absolutely 0.
Shocking. Yeah, absolutely shocking.
Yep.
And it's like, you know what? It's kind of like, I guess if you're a woman, you can just rape children. I guess it seems kind of like that, because I was watching Forensic Files the other night, and there was this story on this woman that it was like Munchausen's by proxy, and she would suffocate her children and then give them CPR to revive them, and then call an ambulance, because she wanted the attention. And you would think they would catch on after 9 times, right? But eventually she killed her daughter because she couldn't revive her. So her daughter died. And then she started doing it to her son. And and she was saying it was a genetic condition that he couldn't breathe. Nah, she was like smothering his ass and then reviving him with CPR. Well, of course she gets convicted, and she gets, I think, life with parole or something. In prison, and she gets out like 8 or 9 years later, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like she killed one of her children and almost killed the other one, and she just gets out in a couple years, and she's the manager at a McDonald's now.
I saw that's wonderful. I saw some clients where 3 kids, they had 3 kids, and this man and woman were selling them for drugs, and they both finally get caught. Horrible story. But the man goes away. He goes away for a long time. Yeah. She'd got nothing. Nothing happened to her at all. And in fact, she had to get trespassed out of the school when she lost her children. I mean, just fucked up stuff, and nothing. There's no consequences whatsoever.
That's just it's unbelievable. That's just why women now. At least Amber Heard. At least Johnny Depp like got off the hook, and we all got to laugh at Amber Heard, even though she didn't face any kind of time or anything. But one fun thing is somebody caught her running. Where is she at now? Spain,
yeah,
Madrid or something. She was like jogging through Madrid, like in the streets, and somebody got a picture of her, and she looks like a nightmare. She looked like she aged like 35 years, and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, well, Depp was like, she hit the wall, and they kept saying, "Oh, that's proof of abuse. He threw her up against the wall," and he was saying, "No, she's aging. She's aging hard." And I mean, in Hollywood too, you get to a certain point where either you can act or they phase you out. That's one or the other, and she's there. And of course, can she act? No, she's in fucking Madrid.
She got like 3 years before I'd be like, you know what? No, Still, she got about 3 years, and I'd be like, I don't think so, because I'd still say yes, maybe. Like if she showed up and she was like, "Look, I'm just, I'm here for no reason. I saw you on YouTube. Clap my ass." I'd be like, "Yeah, maybe."
I don't think of you as a discerning person very much, though.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you can even shit on my bed. I don't care. I'll just clean it up. Speaking of shitting on my bed, Ray Harlock. Oh my God, what a beautiful man. I get to witness two of my favorite guys finally together on stream. Took y'all long enough. That's what we said. Love both you guys. And here's a pink boy for you guys. Thank you, Ray. You're goated. I love you. Let me keep that up there on my side piece. Love you, Ray. Hope you're doing well, man. Halo Millennium. Not sure if you heard, there's some current outrage about some VTubers using the R slur, and seemingly only Twitter dwellers are mad. Everywhere else, I'm seeing nobody else cares. Yeah. So it's like Muda. I think Mudahar said it. He's trying to bring the word back. And I don't, it doesn't bother me. There's a lot of words that actually don't bother me at all. I don't really care for the N word. Something about it, it like cuts like a knife, and I don't really understand it. Because if I go back home, and I don't know if you can attest to this, Doug, but like when I go home, which is very rarely, and like a couple of the friends that I had growing up, like are in the realm that have never left that area, that small area, they just like say the N word, like unironically. And I'm just like, ooh, and it just hurts. I don't know why I don't like hearing it.
When I hear it, it's just like, okay, I don't use the R word. I don't really care. I understand why, but professionally, that actually has a certain connotation. So professionally, that is an outmoded word. We don't use it. And when I look at it, it does mean something about specific people. And again, I would diagnose kids. So it doesn't set with me well in use. But we have a free speech thing. If you don't like what somebody says, then fucking tell them in the loudest degree possible. But, canceling people over using words, even words that, you're like, ooh, that's, I know.
Yeah, I'll be like slightly like moving my distributor cap around, my distributor around on my engine. And then when I got to the point where I was like afraid to like tell like the guy I'm working with to slightly retard the timing, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Because that's what it's called. And I'm like, move it to the left a little. Like move it 1 degree to the left. I think it should all be okay or none of it. But to be honest, I think it all should be okay. Saying none of it, that sounds terrifying. Could you imagine saying "the" and getting arrested? You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you start adding words like when you add words like "but," I believe in free speech, but you don't really believe it's free speech.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like I'm pro 2A, but, and you're like, wait a second, what do you mean, but? And because me and Nick had a conversation about this recently, and I was like, there's certain things that I think would probably be okay, that could be added into laws to like make it, more difficult or blah, blah, blah. And he was like, here's why you're fucking wrong. And he like drilled my ass, and then I understood, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You've changed my mind, because the people in power are the ones who make the rules.
Yeah,
and
they never give it back. They never give. If you lose a freedom, it never is given back.
Right. Because he was like, what if they say? Because I was like, well, what if they determine that you're not, they do an intensive background check and they determine that you can't own a gun because of A, B, or C. And to me, on paper, that's like, okay, they had a violent felony, or maybe they, have this on the record, and so they can't, own a firearm. But then he was like, yeah, what happens if somebody comes to power, or a group of people come to power, and over the course of a year, suddenly, if you just had typed in #MAGA on Twitter, you can't own a gun now because you failed a background check. He's like, these people there's things that can happen. Like, they think you're a certain political affiliation, you can't get a gun. Like, so I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's just like mental health, it gets brought up a lot. Well, I've known a lot of really bad mental health providers, first of all. And second of all, does that extend to every diagnosis? I mean, if you're severely depressed, okay. What about if you're severely anxious? What if I live in Chicago and I'm scared of all the violence there? So I'm really, I have an anxiety disorder. Am I not allowed to have a gun anymore?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of problems with all of that, and if you figure, we've seen societally, if something can be taken to its worst end, it will be taken to that worst end.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the worst end, Billy Hatcher. Oh my God, look at him. I love you, Billy Hatcher. He said, "Did you hear about the California banning Skittles recently? Also, I hate it when women get away with that stuff." Yes. About the women, I agree with you. The Skittles thing, no idea.
I haven't heard about the Skittle thing. I'm curious now.
Tasty? Is that why? Because California doesn't want anything nice. California Skittles are colorful, aren't they? All about the rainbow. Come on now, give me some Skittles. I like Skittles.
Really?
I haven't had it in like 2 years, but I like them.
I think you've so I've come up with a workout regimen, by the way. See what I'm working on. I saw your before and after pictures. I'm working on your before picture, so then I can strive to your level now. So it'll be awesome. Maybe that's why they banned Skittles. They were like too many befores, not enough afters.
Man, I tell you what, dude. Oh my gosh, like I've been going so hard and feeling so terrible all the time. But Tug, there's an issue here. I just can't stop drinking. I love it. Like, and there's no trauma. So I've been thinking about this like inside myself a lot lately. And like my buddy Rob was here, one of my mods. He was here for all weekend. My buddy Colton was here all weekend, and we drink. I'm like, let's drink and play games like all fucking weekend. So that's what we did. And then like now I'm like, I just kind of want to have two drinks every night, every night. And I don't even get tipsy, but I just like kind of drinking and just like playing some games. And I'm like, I'm noticing it's starting to get every damn night. But there's not like a thing attached to it. It's not because of trauma or blah blah blah, or I'm trying to get an escape from my shame. It's relaxing. And I'm like been battling with this. I'm like, should I stop doing this or should I just keep fucking drinking?
What do you think? Everything in excess, man. In excess, you don't enjoy it. I mean, it's like my vice. I failed on even through health issues. Cigars, man. I love to smoke a freaking good cigar.
Yeah.
So I've held on to that, but I try to keep it in not excess because after if you get to the certain point where you become, say, an alcoholic, it's no fun anymore. You're chasing that shit. When you're getting to the question where maybe I should cut back,
yeah. And the way I justify it is, I have friends that drink a lot. Like one of my friends, he's very habitual. Like he will do something just because he has to do a thing. And he has to drink 10 shots every day. So if he doesn't drink those 10 shots, like he'll get mad and frustrated. And when he gets home at like 10 or 11, if he's been out all night, he will take 10 shots back to back to catch up to his like regiment. And he does it he told me the last time he had not taken 10 shots in one day was like 4 years ago.
Well, that's, he's taking it because he's going through withdrawals. When you get to the withdrawal symptom, yes, you have a problem. You have a real problem,
Dude, it's insane. We went to the strip club the other day, Tug, and it was really fun. I took a bunch of girls that I knew, and they got all like over the top dressed up like they were going to the club. And then we went to the strip club, and we were playing some pool, some arcade games, and just drinking a little. And then we went to sit over in the little crowd area where there's like a stage. And we were talking, me and the girls were talking and basically coming up with backstories for each girl. Like it was like people watching. That I enjoy that. I think it was funny. And then like I give one of them $100 in ones, and I'm like, go throw them at that stripper. Go throw them at that stripper. It's gonna be funny. And they do it. And we had a good time, and we left. And he was with me. And we got home, and we're at my like kitchen island, and we're just kind of talking. And he's just like, he has a shot glass, and he's like this, boop. boop, just going like boop. And I was talking to him and he was like, yeah, that was fun, blah, blah, blah. And like every minute that would pass, he was like, it was like snowballing. He was like, go, go. And I was like, oh my God. And then he just passed out on my couch. Like, I was like, damn, dude, like that fast. Wait, how do
I've
you
known
do
some
it?
people with some real tolerances, like Flash, man. That boy he's not an alcoholic, but he has a tolerance. I mean, holy crap.
God, he does, dude. We were in Houston, I think, and we were just walking down the street and we were drinking all night. And there was like a homeless guy screaming at Flash. And he's like, I'll fucking beat your ass, motherfucker. And I was just like, Flash, no. Oh, God, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
The first time I ran into Flash, I met him at Bubba Fest, and what was funny is he actually ran into my wife and my daughter. Now I've never seen Flash before. My wife was like, "Yeah, it scared the shit out of me because he recognized my daughter's voice." So they were in an elevator together. It was just them. It's just some random thing, and he was like, little umbrella girl. My wife was like, holy shit, this is some weirdo, what's going on?
Oh, God.
It turned out to be Flash.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Flash is one of those guys that he'll drink a few drinks and then he'll like look at you and he'd be like, man, I'm really glad you're here. I love you, brother. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Flash. I appreciate that.
Oh, man, he almost got us kicked out of a hotel bar.
Sounds about right.
Funny. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, though, man. He's fun to hang out with, though.
Yeah, dude, he'll just start screaming, and I love it. Like, we'll be at he'll be like, why is the waiter? Where's the fucking waiter? Why's the waiter not got here? He'll be like, he'll just start screaming, like, where's the fucking waiter? Who fucking waiter right now, motherfucker? And I'm just like, oh my God, Flash, what are you doing? God, but he does it almost in a jokey way, but a serious way. It's really funny. But yeah, him and then Nick, of course, when Nick gets drunk, he just kisses you.
Yeah, Nick is such a calm drunk too. He's funny.
He's good.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that's his show personality too. So I mean, shit. You can see what he's just like. You can see it there. I mean, that is the person, only, even less reserved. I mean, a lot of fun.
Flash will break the brakes off someone. Yeah, it's what he says. Ashley, I love you. I appreciate you. She also sent a $10 tip on locals, and so did Ghost Media. Time to rock out with our cocks out, boys. Thank you so much. Love you, Ashley. Love you, Ghost Meter. And then, of course, on YouTube as well. Happy Wednesday. People are horrible. There are no words. Bad Dragon Knight, my boy. How you doing, baby? Hope you're doing well. Tim France says, for Fight Milk, the Goomba, and justice for Johnny Depp. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Thank you, Tim. I agree with all them things that you said. And RZ the Legend, Tug is a great content creator, but he could be legendary if you drop the old Amber Heard stuff. No.
See, it's not really about the Amber Heard thing. Here's what people need to understand. We finally, as people that could be falsely accused at any time at all, you got a victory. And what you need to do, you need to make a lesson. See, they're not going to pay in a courtroom. So what you do is you chart the meteoric success afterwards of the person, and you chart the downcline. And you're like, do you want to fucking be that? Because that's what's going to happen. Because there's a lot of umbrella guys out there, and they will chart your demise.
Yeah. And the thing is, speaking just purely from the YouTube side of it, when you find a thing that works and your viewers are enjoying it and people are responding to it, YouTube doesn't allow you to do other things. You can kind of like jump over and do other things and find success here and there. But when it comes to that kind of shit, like when you find what works, you go ham as hell. You stick really good with that. As long as it still works. And then I've been like, that's what I do. I still talk about retail stuff, but also I've been diving into other stuff that's kind of related. You know what I'm saying? And because otherwise YouTube's like, who are you again?
I'm obsessive compulsive, man. I'm for real. Like I would be, if I were younger, I would have been diagnosed. So, I mean, when I find a subject, as long as I enjoy that, or as long as it has meaning, I'll continue. And I do think it matters. I think it matters. We have these giant social movements, like Me Too. Me Too is supposed to be about fucking survivors going out, and this is really about survivors, because you got to get the false accusers out of that shit. You got to make them go away. Then we can actually do something about reforming the justice system and everything else.
And dude, it's what's staggering to me is the fact that it's like, it was like, believe all women. And it's like, yes, some women will lie. Like that's just going to happen. But we got to believe all women because that's not actually a large percentage of women that would be doing that. And
Right.
I think it's a very large percentage that's doing it. And that's what's scary. That's why you can't just believe all women because it's probably a lot of them, doing
No,
that.
see, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a huge percentage. I think that you have a very loud vocal minority. It's just like in anything. When you see extremists in politics or anything else, those extremes, when they find out something works for them, they make money or they get power out of it, they're very loud and they will never give it away and they'll destroy your fucking life. The problem with the false accusers is they have political backing, they have mainstream backing. I mean, it's absolutely real.
That's what I mean. I don't mean like an 80 percentile thing. I mean like a huge, like out of all these cases,
case wise,
there's probably like a 5 to 10% of these people that are completely making shit up.
Oh yeah. There's
the scary thing.
Well, it was like the Vic Mignogna thing. Okay, we looked through. There were multiple accusers. I try to tell people, it doesn't matter how many accusers, because I looked through 9 people that I could discount right off the bat. I could just discount them by dates or by what they were saying. I mean, and that's 9 false fucking accusers in one case. That's indicative of just how bad it is.
That's insane to me. That's insane. And it reminds me of my friend. When I had a friend recently, a few years ago. He was dating this girl, and he had no idea the shit she was saying to other people. But she would talk to mutual friends. So I would find out about this. And they had been dating for like 4 years. And she told a mutual friend that my friend that I've known way longer than her, we grew up together, was physically abusing her. And I was like, holy shit. This dude is not like that. Unless I completely misread him my entire life, he's never been like this.
Right.
So there's that. And then B, like, what's really happening here. So she told her parents that he had been physically abusing her. And her parents had hated him for years. And he didn't know why. Because she was telling him something completely different. So I like text him and I'm like, hey, can you come to my house? And like, I just want to talk to you about something. And he was all like, what? Like, that's a unexpected thing. I was like, yeah, just come to my house. Cause we hung out like, quite often. So he comes over and I'm like, hey, just want to let you know that your girlfriend so-and-so is saying this shit. And here's like the message. And she's telling her parents that you do this. And he was blown away. He couldn't believe it. He was like, what? He's like, I've never done anything to her. On the contrary, she would slap at him and slam doors and threaten to kill herself all the time. That's what he told me. And I was like, holy shit. So he confronts her and she, of course, freaks out and is crying. And she's like, I don't know why I lied and blah, blah, blah. And apparently she told her family she lied to them the whole time. They never liked him anyway. So she apparently like fixed everything and he stayed with her for like another 2 years. And then she just left him one day. And I'm like, man, dude, I would have been so done. I'd have been so done. And, he never did any of those things ever.
Anyone violates trust like that. I mean, but as a male, we're problem solvers anyway. So when shit falls apart, you're in a relationship, you're like, man, I got to fix this stuff. And we're also conditioned. Like, ask any guy that has been in relationships, like, hey, tell me a crazy ex story. And imagine if that story came from a female, would that be abuse? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Dude, I had a girl, my first girlfriend ever. If she thought I was looking in the direction of a woman, she would slap me. I was like 17 years old, by the way. And we were at like, I think the biggest example I can think of is we were at Six Flags and I was looking at the Joker ride. I was watching it floop around and shit. And she grabbed my face and dug her like nails in and just pulled really fast because she thought I was looking at some Asian girl. And I was like, okay. And I was like bleeding on my face. And I had to like put paper towels on my face and shit. I broke up with her after 6 months of this because even I had my own limits. But it was like it was my first girlfriend that I ever had like a sexual relationship with. So like I was confused. I was like, do I love her? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And now what if she was a guy? You know what I'm saying? And I was a girl. Yeah, it would be 100% abusive, awful relationship. I get arrested and shit. You know, it's freaking insane, dude.
Yeah, I was leaving one time, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving. So I was pulling my car around, I pulled around in the in the grass, was pulling out, and the girl that I was with at the time, she ran up to the porch, she came back and she hit my car twice. I was like, what the fuck? That was loud, whatever. So I'm driving down the road, people are looking at my car weirdly. Yeah, she had stuck. So I had a little like a climbing pick, and she had hit the car just right and it stuck it into my car. She actually tried to break out a window and went after. Yeah, if I went after somebody in the same right, I would be in jail for a long time.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't even report because again, just crazy ex-girlfriend stories.
Oh my God. I went to like a house party, or it might have been my house. I can't remember. It's been years ago. There was this one girl that was like, when she got drunk, she'd just walk up and like and slap at dudes and try to slap them in the face. And she'd pick out like the most scrawny, frail dude and just go bully him. And one dude picked her ass up like a rag doll and threw her out of the house once. And it was the greatest shit I'd ever seen in my life. And the girls just think they can do that because they can. I mean, they can. She ain't going to go to jail, So that's just how it works. Lily Smith says, Colonel Kurt says 15 to 25%, according to her research, are false. I mean, I could believe that. I could believe it.
Well, the high profile ones, the problem is, I mean, you do run into this quandary. You can't prove a lot of the stuff that's going to happen anyway. But when you look at people and they provide like the herd, I mean, that shit you could tell was set up.
Yep.
It was a false. It was false from go. She planned that shit out. She thought she was going to get a lot of money. Maybe personally, I'm of the opinion that she was going to, let's say, unalive him at one point, or one of her friends was going to, and she's going to walk away with, $500 million. She thought.
Yeah. It's the percentage is probably way higher in high profile cases because there's so much to gain from their, from their position. Whereas if you're just a normal lady and you're dating a dude at the trailer park and he slaps you around, like, what are you going to sue him for his trailer? There's not really much to gain there. So like
custody. Custody, a lot of times.
Yeah,
you get it
100%.
automatically. I knew a guy, and really nice guy, man. He had, he was nice to everybody, was good around kids, not in a weird way or anything, was just nice that way. Well, his wife was cheating on him, and she alleged all kinds of horrible shit. And he went to jail for quite a bit of time until his kid got old enough that they recounted what the wife said. And by then she took everything from him and nothing happened. I mean, he ends up being exonerated from this stuff, and she still kept the house. She got to keep the kids, everything. It was unreal.
Do you think that if a woman makes false allegations that lands a man in prison for, an extended amount of time, do you think if it's proven to be false, like she admits it, or somehow they find evidence where it's false, do you think she should be charged with a crime?
100%, yes.
Agreed. Yep, that's a fast one. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, we've even the sentences for this stuff are just laughable. There was a case where two UK, I think they were in the UK, for instance, they had an affair. And this guy was like, I'm married. I'm going to drop you. So she gets mad, understandably, but then she gets crazy. She starts writing herself threatening messages, blames it on him. He gets arrested. The investigation shows that she did it. So when she goes, when they're interviewing her, she says, oh, you know what? He raped me. So he gets released. He gets rearrested. He proves that, this was a consensual relationship. She's going to go to trial. So she fakes a kidnapping. She ends up having somebody stab her in the leg, and she fakes like she got away. He gets rearrested. He gets out because it was fake. And at first she gets discretionary life. So that could mean, 1 year, but it's discretionary life. Well, within 6 months, that's been turned around. They said, oh, that's too harsh of a sentence. We're going to give her just I forget how many years. It was a few years with probation within 1 year.
My God.
Yeah.
And Jessica Reloaded has something good right here. She says, I think she should be charged and do double the time the man served for the accusations. Yeah, I don't disagree. Because, doing half the time wouldn't make sense. Doing double the time is you knew what you did and you knew you made false allegations. And this man has already lost portions of his life that he'll never get back. Right.
You remember that Do you remember that movie, The Lovely Bones? Mark Wahlberg, it was okay. Well, the lady who wrote that book, Alice Sebold, she wrote another book called Lucky. It was about her experience being raped. She put a man in prison for almost 2 decades, and it turned out that he was not the man who
Oh my
did
God.
anything. Yeah, so she made millions off of him. She became a huge spokesperson. She front and center with all these committees. Nothing happened. In fact, the book that she wrote stayed in print an additional year until there was enough public outcry that they ended up pulling it. But
Wow. I
yeah,
had no idea. I remember seeing the Lovely Bones movie like 20 years ago now, 15 years ago. And yeah, I had no idea that was a thing, that
Yep.
she put a man in prison for 20 years. God, it's insane. Roland New said, had an ex say the same about me, even though I was being abused by said girl. Nobody believed. Even her own parents told me to leave her. She hit me. Yeah, but us as men, now, not all of us. I'm not this way. Dude, if I was like dating a girl and she like slapped at me, I'd be like, yeah, you can get out of my house forever. Like, it doesn't take much for me. Dudes put up with a lot of shit for some reason. Like a lot of shit. And I'll never understand why. Like I said, my friend stayed with that girl for years after he found out that she told her parents and all her friends that he beat her for years. Imagine being that guy and you have to go to like a family gathering or a friend gathering and they all think you beat the lady. God, fuck that. That's insane. Jesus.
Well, and the allegation, it doesn't matter if you prove like again, look at the Depp stuff. He still has how many people that are like, oh, he did it. It didn't matter what was proven.
Still getting 20K likes on a damn tweet somehow. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, did you not watch? Like, you could watch like 3 clips from the trial for 1 minute and you can find out immediately it was all bullshit. Immediately. It doesn't even take having to go through the whole freaking thing. Like, it's just highlights, man, and people just, it's almost like, it's like confirmation bias, right? They're just like, this is my side and I'm going to just stick to it regardless of evidence. Right. Yeah. Echo chamberiness. Halo Millennium says, my first girlfriend at 14 ruined high school for me. She lied to me and everyone that she was pregnant with another dude. Everyone for years thought I R-worded her and I'm still a virgin. Oh my God. Could you imagine? It's like, bro, I'm a virgin. It's like, no, you did that. Yeah. So I never had a girlfriend until I was out of high school. So I didn't have to deal with that bullshit. Because I quit school at 16. And my first girlfriend was like 17. So I got out of that shit. I didn't have to worry about social bullshit like that. Because girls at 13, 14 are psychos. I mean, guys are too, but like guys are more physically psycho from hormones, whereas women are like, what's the word? They're like mentally and connivingly evil as fuck at that age. And they can be forever, depending on the girl. So yeah, no thanks, absolutely not. And there's a reason why I would never talk to girls after like hanging out with them like once or twice, because I'm just not getting caught up with that bullshit. Dude, I had a girl one time I was hanging out with, and I was streaming on Twitch. This was like 2017. I was streaming on Twitch, and another girl that knew me, my old roommate, was like in the Twitch stream in the chat. And she was like at my house and she was just in the chat on the Twitch stream. And this other girl that I had hooked up with, like, joined the chat and was like arguing with like the girl that was at my house and like posting my address. She's like, yeah, I actually know Cody in real life. We're hanging out. And she was like, I doubt it. I doubt you know him in real life. She's like, is this his address? I've actually been to his address. And she was like posting it in the Twitch chat. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no. This is not impressing Cody, the streamer, right now. I'm like, I don't like this. What are you doing? So I never hung out with that girl again, ever again. Like, no, thank you. I'm gonna hang out with you, doxing my ass for some reason. What the hell? Dude, it was insane. What's your craziest female experience other than the pickaxe lady?
I mean, there's been some crazy ones, man. Crazy ones. I had a girlfriend at one time that I found out that she was a Thelemite. Do you know who Aleister Crowley is?
Yes.
Okay, so Aleister Crowley believed in all kinds of weird shit, like sex magic. He believed the more deformed and ugly, the better. It can make magic, right? Well, yeah, they believed a lot of other stuff too. Well, they are Thelemites. So she actually was a Thelemite, not the sex practicing stuff, but some other crazy shit. Yeah, finding out, just finding out what this girl believed, I was like, are you fucking crazy?
Oh my.
I mean,
Yeah. I had a girl that was all about Wiccan shit at one point and would like do things in front of me. I'd be like on my computer and she'd be like, I don't know if it was all for show, but she'd be like doing some weird shit chants with her little book and shit. And she dressed crazy. But yeah, dude, she was girls like that though are like real fun to just like throttle. But like for some reason, anything else, you're like, please stop talking to me. Oh God, like what are you doing? Why are you so crazy all the time? Like I just don't. I think it's a replacement for personality. Like if a girl doesn't have personality, she fills it up with all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
that's the problem. A lot of people get in relationships. Relationships over time. It's like my wife. I would consider her my best friend. And yeah, they got to be that. They got to be that over time, because after a while, if this craziness, if it's built on that, yeah, it starts to show through.
Yeah, dude. My ex-wife was like my bro. Like I get home, we'd fist bump, we'd do everything together.
Yeah.
And that was, she was legitimately easily my best friend, not even a contest until she left. Then she wasn't anymore. But then because she just disappeared. But yeah, that's how it should be. And I don't know if you ever followed or seen clips from the goofy ass manosphere stuff. But like that's the opposite of they claim. They're like, your wife cannot be your best friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, what the fuck? Where is this coming from? What are you talking about? Like I would, there's no way in absolute hell I would want to be with a girl that I didn't enjoy being around. You kidding me?
I mean, that's the whole thing. You've got to want to be around somebody, because there's going to be those small hours, especially if you're around somebody, not for a few days, but for years. Again, you have to be able to fucking get along. It's just a basic thing.
Yeah, dude. What do you think of the manosphere shit? Like, do you think it's just over the top as hell?
Some of it. I get it. I get why. Like I understand MGTOW. I don't agree with everything. I agree with some stuff that they say as well. The backlash is very understandable too. I mean, again, I cover false accusations all the time. I cover this crazy shit all the time, and I can understand why some people would think this is all women. It's not some extreme.
Yeah, 100%. So I was watching a lot of clips from those like shows like Fresh and Fit and whatnot. And then after like a month, I was like, okay, there's like 5 different shows and they're all saying the exact same thing. And every show is the same like question. It's like, why do you think you deserve a millionaire? What do you bring to the table? And I'm like, okay, I'm bored of this. It's all getting really silly. Like it's you could have all these streams in one stream and it's just you learn everything that they believe. And it gets really over the top. For example, the one where they say women, if you should never let your girlfriend or wife have social media. And I'm like, that's just insane. That's just too much. It's too much for me. Like if they want it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. But like saying they can't, that's just a little too much. It's like,
I see Andrew Tate post shit like that. Your woman should have permission to do I'm like, get fucking real, man. I don't apply anything. Like, I don't want somebody telling me what to do, micromanaging my time. So I'm not going to do that to someone else. Trust should play a huge factor. If you can't trust somebody, don't be around them. I consider that with guy friends and everyone. It's a trust thing.
Yeah, and like there are, like you said, there's some stuff I agree with, and I also can kind of see their logic when they explain it, but I'm just like, no, I'm not. I would never be like that, because they're like, well, they're putting themselves for sale, and I'm like, I get what you're trying to say, that probably does affect some women, and they probably do fucking leave because of that. But there would be never a situation where I would be like that to a woman, and I talk about this. I used to talk about it a little bit more because this is back when I was watching the clips from it. And it was like a fun conversation to have. But I would talk about it. And for some reason, people like in the chat would get really mad at me. And they misconstrue the entire conversation. So you'll talk about that. You're like, okay, so what does a woman where is a woman's value, and then where is a man's value, and then you'd have the conversation that they always have, whereas men create their value through social success, financial success, and all this stuff, and and they age gracefully, and they get more wise, and they get more financially stable, whereas a woman, all her values in like this very small period where she's youthful and attractive, and that's pretty much it. And when they talk about this, and when I was talking about it, it was a very tiny subset of people. It was like supermodel ladies that are 21 to 24 and men that were making way over 6 digits a year and extremely socially correct, or socially and financially stable or successful. And then people get mad, like 400-pound women in my chat. I'm sorry, 400-pound women in my chat. But like they'd be like, I would never go after a man only for his money. And I'm like, yeah, because you can't. You're not in this conversation, and neither am I. I'm 5'11". I'm already out. You got to be 6'2" or some shit. So I'm already out. I'm not in the conversation either, but I understand the logic behind it. And dude, so many women like message me saying, "You've changed. I can't believe you." And I'm like, bitch, I don't agree with half that shit either. I'm just explaining the logic behind it. They get so mad at me. And anyways, I got bored of the manosphere conversations real quick because I found out there was like 5 topics and that was the it, so, but yeah, dude, people get mad as fuck over that shit. And I'm like,
people get mad as fuck about everything though.
Yeah.
You notice? Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not talking about you, damn it. Like Helena would get mad at me. And one of my mods, Helena was like, I would never. I'm like, bitch, you are not in this conversation. Like, it's not about like you are not a 21 to 24-year-old supermodel. Like, and I'm not a millionaire, 6'2" ripped man, like that has a freaking CEO job somewhere. We're not, it's just the logic behind human behaviors. That's why it's fun to talk about. Damn it. Stop bringing the conversation down, Helena, in the chat, you bitch. All right. But yeah, anyways, Roland says, I tried for a month after that, but F it, had enough of blogging her hits. Happier now than I ever have been. Learned a lot. You rock, Cam and Tug. Thank you, Roland. And I'm glad you got out of that bullshit. Thank you so much, my friend. Bad Dragonite. My case. Girl at work got in trouble and threw a random accusation to try and distract from it. My friend was blackmailed with a threat of accusations if he didn't smash, and he wouldn't get to enjoy it. Oh my gosh, dude, that is insane. It's even further down the rabbit hole where it's like you'll have a girl that wants to be in a relationship with you, and she'll say, well, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me or do a certain thing, then I'll make an accusation. And they'll tell you they're going to do it too. I'll say you hit me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scary thing. That's why a lot of people will stay in dysfunctional relationships as well.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's why, I know, Tug, that you're a happy man. But me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to live in this big ass house. And I'm just going to not talk to anybody. Like, I'm just going to be right here. That's all I need. Like, I'm just too afraid of all that shit, man. Like, and I know it's not as likely as I would think it would be. But I'm just like, no, I'm not going to be, just going to not do any of that. Just go and make stomach pancakes. That's all I need.
Yeah. You've also had bad experiences with stuff.
That's true.
You're living your best life now. There's no reason that you have to be in a relationship or this, that, and the other. As we get older, I think you think, hey man, I don't want to be alone or this or that. That might factor in, but man, live your best life. Enjoy it. Fuck it,
bro. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I kind of just love being alone. I don't understand it. I just love it. Fucking love it. It's just really calming and so easy for me, and I prefer it. And I have chick friends that I hang out with all the time. Like my friend PDH, I hang out with her almost every day. But like, dude, when I'm sitting here alone in my room, God, it's just the greatest shit. When I'm in my garage working on my car, just alone with some Yes playing on the speaker, some Roundabout. I'll be your roundabout, dude. I'm in ecstasy. Just alone. It is the greatest shit. It's crazy. And my married Cody self would have like thought I was insane. Because like, I was like so like probably unhealthily codependent. I wouldn't say super unhealthily codependent, but a little bit. Because when she left, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was like, I don't know what to do, man. And I grew up really fast. Like within like 2 months, I was like 10 years older and wiser, in my opinion, because I was like, well, I guess I got to do all this bullshit and put it all in my name and do all this stuff. And it was pretty intense, But I'm glad it happened because that's why I started YouTube. I was like, well, you know, I've always wanted to do YouTube, and I would spend every waking moment hanging out with her, you know. So I was like, I'll just start doing YouTube. And that's why I started racing, and then it all just worked out because I could actually put time into it and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't it weird how we just fall down that YouTube rabbit hole? You know what I mean? Like there's just random shit that it works out. You end up doing this for
Dude,
years.
the weirdest shit in the world. I was talking to Casey about that today. One of my peeps. And she was like, like how, like, does it ever feel weird? Like you just like you're just doing this shit? And I'm like, yeah, like all the time. Like I'll be sitting there in my theater room, like drinking and shit, watching Moana and crying, and I'll just be like, man, I can't believe that I just do. That's what I do. This is what I do. Is just fucking YouTube. It's crazy to me. And it's now, don't get me wrong, it's a damn job, and you put everything into it, and it's stressful. There's a lot of anxiety there, but still, like, it's cool that it happened, and it all came from a random ass me just uploading a video once, like just for no reason, you know. Because what I did was I just uploaded that video it says I worked at GameStop 11 years. Here's my story. That was the video. And I did an AMA, and I put it on Reddit, and I put the video in the description of the post. And I was like, I worked at GameStop 11 years. Ask me anything. And it hit the front page in like an hour, and it stayed there for 24 hours. And and this is my first video ever. And I just was answering comments all day. That's all I did. Then it kind of went away, and the first video got like 12,000 views. You know, I guess organically, I don't know. And then, you know, every video after that would get 800 views, 1,000 views, you know,
Right.
which is great when you're first starting.
Yeah. Yep. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think it was the 4th or 5th month of that. You know, they weren't getting many views anymore, and I was working a lot, and I was so tired. So I was like, oh, you know, I'm probably not going to do this. I'll try to do it here and there, but I can't really do it as much as I've been. I was doing like a video every 4 days. And just when I stopped, like right when I stopped doing it for like 3 weeks, it went nuclear. And that first video got 1 million views in like 2 days, and I got like 30,000 subs in like a couple of days. Like, and I was like, whoa, shit. And then I was like, I guess I'll stream. So I got home and I streamed, and then somebody joined. His name's Jesus Christ. He's a YouTuber named Jesus Christ, and he joined, and he had like a little check mark thing. And he was like, hey, bro, turn on super chats. And I was like, I don't know what a super chat is. So I turned on super chats, and then the next stream I was just playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion, by the way. And I turned on super chats, and I made like $500, $600 in super chats. And I like was, holy shit, is this something I could actually do? And then I kept working, you know, at Walmart for a while until I got fired when they found my YouTube, because I made a video about Walmart. But yeah, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just doing this from now on until I can't do it no more. And here we are 4 years later.
It is interesting. I mean, I like doing it. You know, I've kept my day job. I worked a long time in mental health to build up, you know, to give that up. And I like what I do there, but it is surreal being able to do this and to know, I mean, if I ever wanted to quit doing that, I could do this too, you know, at least for a while. And it is a very surreal landscape. It's also the only job where part of the description is people threatening your life and everything else.
Yeah.
I work in mental health, and the people that they're more well adjusted coming out of mental health hospitals and people online.
Dude, if I could just compile all the DMs I've gotten, it's probably 500 of just DMs of 500 DMs of people threatening my life. Like over like 4 years, people saying they're going to come to my house. They'll post pictures from street view of my house saying that they know where I am. I had a person do it recently, and it was my old house. It's funny. It's like it wasn't even my current house. But yeah, people are absolutely insane. And I don't understand why they attach to YouTube people. Like, and the example I'll give is if I dislike somebody, which is very hard for me to like actually really dislike someone. But if I disliked a content creator, I'm like, oh, I don't really like this person. You know, I just press the X, and then I watch other content, and I never think about it again. And there's people that have been in my chat or in my comment sections for all my YouTube videos, and I see it every time I post a video, and I see their name pop up in the comments on my YouTube studio, and they're just shitting on me. And I'm like, how do you do this for years?
Right.
It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm like, but like they're actually devoting time to shitting on a random person because they don't like them for years. That's
They are your
crazy.
biggest fans, man. They are
Yeah.
your biggest fans.
Yes, your haters are definitely your biggest fans. Roland News says, as a black belt, I was able to defend without hurt on either side, but no way I'm dealing with crap. I'm all good on my own with my homies. Damn straight, Roland. Homies for life. Billy Hatcher with is this the first orange boy? Let me scroll up. I think it's the first orange boy. We're one red boy from a rainbow night, Billy Hatcher. Thank you, man. I never dated girls at all in my life, and I don't plan on doing that. I just want to have fun and play games. Are you saying that you date men? Because I got news for you, Billy. That means you're gay. I love you, Billy. I appreciate you, Billy. Ain't nothing wrong with dating dudes, man. I know some very attractive men. Thank you, Billy. Helena says, you adore me, Cody. Don't lie. You love it when I give you crap to banter over chat. I don't know. I just ignore you now. I would rather you send me your boobies like that one time. I might be imagining that, actually. But still, I'm just kidding, Helena. Don't send me your boobies. Love you. Zay, hey, what? My boy Phil. Yo, Tug and Cody, hope you're doing great. How you doing, my man? He's my boy. He's my boy. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. Speaking of garbage, are you planning on seeing The Little Mermaid?
Let me see the reaction to Little Mermaid. Does that count?
Oh my, yeah, I can't. I'm excited to see the audience score.
I'm not watching that shit, man.
No, dude, that would be 2.5 hours of my life or 2 hours of my life. I'm gonna watch that shit. And as soon as it got to the Scuttlebutt song, I turned that bullshit off. I can't do it.
Flash Killer, he'll be like, yo, for Flashcast, why don't you go see this? I'm like, you're fucking kidding me.
No. And I remember I was on Friday Night Tots recently, and I haven't watched a Marvel movie in such a long time, dude. And Gary messaged me and was like, hey, make sure you watch Guardians 3 for F&T. And I was like, oh no. And I went into the theater thinking I was going to hate it, and I loved it. I was like, oh, that's surprising. But if he was like, hey, you want to be on F&T? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, watch The Little Mermaid. I'll be like, actually, I have a race that week. No, don't make me watch Little Mermaid, man. I can't do that shit. I just can't. Oh God, no, thank you. It just looks like and it's funny because it's all CG. It's called a live action remake, but it's like almost all CG.
Yeah,
it's like The Lion King. It was actually quite literally almost all CG. You know, except the lions can't make facial expressions.
It just looks like hot garbage, man. And they know, like the companies like Disney know what they're doing. When they change up the actress, people in fandom, they don't like change. I know that. I don't like fucking change. So when you take a character that I've grown up with, that I've known all my life, and you change them, you change whatever race, gender, whatever. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, dude, same. Absolutely not. And my favorite thing that Disney though is something they do, and I love it, dude. I love it so much. Is when they try to change or hide the race of a black actor in China. Did you see the movie poster?
Yep, I saw that.
They just made her blue and like almost hid her face, so you couldn't see it. So she's looking up, so you only see her chin and then a blue body, and it says The Little Mermaid. And I'm like, oh. Good job, you got him. You did it again. It's like when Black Panther, when they just he just had a mask on.
Yeah, or it's Star Wars where they hide the only black character.
Oh yeah, they took Finn, and he was big on the poster, and they made him like really little.
Yeah, they hit him in the background. It's like, wow. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing that kills me. I'll see people out there pretending that Disney, they care. Yeah, they care about my identity. They don't fucking care. They're a corporation. They think that they can market it, and you should be insulted by that.
Yeah, and it's funny because they're the ones, and the writers and all those people involved are the ones that are actively tweeting that if you don't support this, you're evil, you're racist, you're bigoted, and they're calling everybody that is giving something a bad review bigoted, racist, or evil. And then that same company will take a black actor out of a poster because they in China they know it will be negatively received. Instead of standing by their guns, what they should do is not release it in China and be like, we refuse to release in China, and they don't ever do that though because there's a large portion of money coming out of that bitch.
Yeah, they're dependent on it. I mean, they very much are. But, most people, again, you're talking about headline readers like we talked about before. So they buy into all this bullshit.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. That's what they do. And like I said, they just do the whole bullshit where they just call you a racist. They just call you racist over and over again. And it honestly has nothing to do with that, like at all. It's like the Cleopatra thing, where everybody that's involved in it, especially Will Smith's wife, are just basically they're even calling the Egyptian people like bigoted, which isn't allowed. Actually, if you're a person of color, you can't be bigoted, or you can't be racist if you're a person of color by the definition that they provide. Yet they're calling Egyptian people racist. And it's like, no, you're just changing their history, and they don't really care for that. And they're not in America. You can't really shout down other countries. You'll notice that people will shout at Japan or China when they find out certain things about Japan. So this girl, it's a funny story I read recently. This white girl went to Japan, and she was like, "Yeah, Japan," and she was trying to go to clubs, and she kept going to clubs, and all the clubs that she went to said Japanese only on the door. So if you were a foreigner, you couldn't go into the club. And when she saw that, her entire like belief structure was shattered, and she called the police, the Japanese police. And she's like, they won't let me in, and they're saying it's only Japanese people, and that's racist and evil. And like the Japanese people couldn't even fathom what she was saying. They were like, "What? It says Japanese only on the door." The police was like, "It says it right there." And she's like, "No, but you can't do that." And they're like, "What? No, it says it on the door. We're reading it. It says Japanese only. You are not Japanese." And like the owners, that's what they're saying. You can't go in. And then she's like, "Well, that should be illegal." And it's like, no, there's a reason why Japan is 99.8% Japanese people. There's a reason. It's because they don't like you. They like the idea of you, just not around them, like in everyday life. They'll like to see you in a movie, right? But they don't want you around. And it's one of my friends that lived in Japan for years. Also, she's like half Asian. That's what she said. She said since she was mixed, like white mixed, like Japanese men would not date her at all. They were like they would tell her that, be like, I can't date you. You're mixed. You have to be Japanese. My family won't allow me to date you. Sorry. And it's the same way with men. She said men will have sex with white women, but they will not date them at all. They consider like white women, like Western women, like for lack of a better word. She said that in mass Japanese men, like native Japanese men, think white women are whores, but they'll have sex with them, but they would never date them. That was what her exact words was. And I was like, damn, that's brutal. That's brutal. So yeah, but when people find these things out about other countries, they fucking go tweet about it, right? They're like, oh God, I'm gonna tweet about this and see how and then Japanese people will say, I don't care. Because like it doesn't bother, like we don't I'm not on Twitter. I'm in Japan. Kill yourself. I don't care. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna change that?
I thought we were supposed to respect cultures too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people will say. They'll be like, I saw this one lady tweet where she was like, what did she say? She said that Japan has almost no gun deaths and they don't allow guns and blah blah blah, and we should be more like Japan. And I like quote tweeted it, and I was like, yeah, and also Japan is one race. That is all it is. Like if you're certain colors in Japan, you can't own property and work in certain areas. It's illegal unless you're Japanese. It's like, to be fair, they're extremely nationalists, and that's just how they are. And it's like, so you're saying we should be more like that, And of course she ain't gonna respond to that shit.
Of course
she just cares about the gun thing. That's all that matters. It's like, no, the reason guns look so terrible here is because Chicago exists. If you just like removed Chicago somehow, like Control-Alt-Deleted, and it just disappeared, and you did that with like 4 cities, our gun deaths would go down by like 99.4%.
Well, that's like here, per capita. I was looking at the per capita stats here. Where I live is considered more dangerous than Memphis. Memphis is a murder. I mean, it's just a murder spot. Bodies dropping all the time. But the reality of that is it's because of our population. We've had two murders here in 2 years. We had like 71 assaults, I think it was in the last year. But part of those are like bar brawls and stuff. But yeah, we're supposed to be more dangerous. I mean, when you look at that, if you really were to cut out certain cities here, you were cut out Nashville and Memphis, man, Tennessee would be a very safe place.
Yeah. So I was talking about that on Twitter the other day, and I think you responded to it. somebody was arguing with me. I don't fucking remember who it was. Probably Carrie. She argues with me all the time. And she was claiming that where I lived was more dangerous because using per capita numbers instead of actual numbers. And my city that I live in an offshoot city, but it's basically the same city. The city that I'm living in is almost the same size as New York City. It's like very close, right? So, but there was like, if you take my whole city, there's like less than like 10 murders in the last like several years where I live. And in New York City, it's like fucking thousands. In the same sized area, by the way. It's the same size city roughly, give or take 20 square miles. But I'm like, so if you take that number, it's because the population here is like 400,000, adjusted 500,000 now. They haven't updated it in like 10 years. But the population is smaller, yet it's less dense. So basically, what that means is if you're walking down the street in New York and you walk a mile, you have like 1,000% chance more, maybe higher, to get stabbed in the ass cheeks than you do here walking down the street. And it's like, but technically, per population numbers, 10 deaths per this amount brings you a higher per capita. Yep. And I'm like, but that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it means nothing. It means absolutely
and
nothing.
People tweet that. They'll tweet that. They'll be like, did you know that, Chicago is actually safer than Carlton, South Carolina? And I'm like, they have like 8 people. And like there was one death like 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, but technically. It's like, no, fucker, it's not technically. It's like it's like you can walk outside naked and like flop your balls around in front of police. No one's gonna do anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Then move to Chicago if you like it so much. Fucking jump in there. But nobody wants to because, they're dropping bodies. God, I was looking at there's a site that tracks Chicago murder rates. It tracks like shootings. It tracks like how the person was shot, where they were shot, and whether they died or not. And it was fucking unreal to look at that site.
God, it's insane, dude. Tug Simp says, I don't understand wanting a gun. What does that mean, Tug?
Well, I mean, when you deal with people that when they're born somewhere else, like other countries, for example, they can't even imagine here. First of all, you have to imagine there are more guns in the United States than there are people. So you don't have a gun, you're literally that person bringing a spoon to a knife fight. You're not bringing you're screwed there. And we're especially in the U.S. South. Like Camelot, I'm sure was raised with the same idea. We're raised with a anti-authoritarian point of view. So guns, first of all, it's part of the culture because of hunting and whatnot, but also authority, man. Authority. Anyone ever tries to clamp down on you, more guns here than and where I live, there are probably 3 guns to every person. So.
Yeah, that's why you'll see videos of a guy with a knife in the UK, like a big man with a knife, and there's like 9 cops surrounding them, and they just don't know what to do. Whereas here, it's different. So basically, if somebody breaks into my house, like this is the reason I have a gun. I don't hunt, right? So, but I have a 12 gauge. So if somebody breaks into my house, I'm blowing them in half. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I don't care, right? And that's pretty much why I support having a gun. Because I'm like, if somebody breaks in my house, I'm blowing them in half, bro. And that's pretty much the biggest thing for me is just self-protection. And also the idea of protecting yourself from a tyrannical government, which people say, oh, even if you did, they have jets and stuff. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess we should just give away everything then, The issue is, like Tug said, there's more guns than people. Therefore, bad people that will have guns regardless of laws, right? So I like to just have my 12 gauge under my bed, right? That's the whole point. So that's
I have a lot of guns. Yeah, I have quite a few here. So yeah, I mean, I always go out. If I go out, I'm strapped always. So I'm not taking it. Hey, we talked about YouTube and the craziness there. 99.9% of people probably would never do anything. But you know what? There is that 0.1%. I got kids too. And I'll tell you what, if somebody wants to threaten me or anything else, they should know I will react extremely to that. So, yeah.
Carrie says, no guns for me. I got knives. Don't you live in New York City or something? Is it legal there? I don't know how it works, man. I would never go to that place. But yeah. So the issue is, let's say you have a knife, okay, and a guy breaks in, and he has a gun. Are you going to turn into damn Raiden from Metal Gear and start freaking deflecting bullets and shit? Like what's going to happen? So I'd like to just have a gun. So there's no chance of anything happening. I'm going to stand on the top of my foyer. What do they call it? A foyer? I don't know what they call it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to aim down like, damn, I'm going to camp like it's Call of Duty. I'm just going to whoop, standing right there.
People also don't realize that the Supreme Court has ruled that police are not obligated to save your life. There was a very extreme case. A lady calls in to the police. There was somebody trying to break into her home. I mean, they've beaten on the door. There were no police officers to send out. So a 911, I forget how long it took, but it was horrible listening. They stayed there beating on the door until they got in, and they murdered this lady terribly. Yeah. So her family sued, went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said they're not liable for that. So, who is? You are.
Exactly, 100%. And yeah, Carrie, I wasn't talking about me. I'm talking about what if somebody breaks in. I'm not talking about me. I'm not going to break into your house, Carrie. What the hell? Why would I want to do that? I have no interest in breaking into your house. Tug Simp says maybe it's because I'm British. I suppose it's part of
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and 100%. And the thing that you have to think about is, if let's say there's a criminal in the UK and they just happen to have a gun and they break into your house, what is your course of action there? And I can eliminate every avenue here in America, by just having a 12 gauge. I can just eliminate any thoughts and what am I going to do in this situation? Oh, I know what I'm going to do in this situation. It's very easy to think about when you're here. Somebody gonna break in, you're gonna pop them right in the face. And I had some guy arguing with me. It's like, would you have the balls to actually pull the trigger? And I'm like, yeah. What are you talking about? Would I have No, they're in my house. I don't care anymore. I have no empathy to the guy in the house. I'm not gonna be like, I don't want to hurt him. No, I want to hurt him actually, because he's I'm enjoying. I'm happy now. He's in here. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a great time. God, you know what I'm saying? Not letting somebody come in my space ain't happening, dude. A gun is the best equalizer for a woman. 100% omniscient. 100%. If you're a woman, you better have a gun, because if a dude breaks in your house and you're carrying, you have some knives, he's gonna slap that knife out of your hand. He's gonna be like, all right, girl. And you're like, oh well, this sucks. Now what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna overpower him. I'm sorry, girls. It's not a thing you can do when you're a woman. You'll find out real fast the first time you go to the gym. You're like, oh wow, I am literally the weakest person that's ever existed. I've taken girls to the gym, man. And they're like, skinny girls, because, girls. And they'll sit down at the weight bench, like bench press, and they can't even bench the bar. That's 45 pounds, man. That's like 2 milk jugs. Like, what are you doing? And they can't bench that shit. So, I'm training girls, and there's a lot of girls I train that can bench over a plate, which is huge for a woman. She can maybe fight off a frail dude, but even then, like, it's just dangerous. Just get yourself a gun, bro. Get yourself a gun. Don't worry about all that shit where you have to fight a dude off. No, just get yourself a gun. Just point it at some bitch. There you go.
In places like here, if you can open carry, oh man, people know that. Like if I go somewhere, I conceal, but if I've been down to pick up something, you can tell I have a gun on me, and I'll have more than one gun on me. I'll probably have 2 guns on me. I may have one in my car too. So yeah, I mean, if you decide to fuck with me, and I mean, hey, that's here we can stand our ground too. In some places you can't do that. I think that's fucked up, but yeah, in the South, like I said, the South, and still in Texas, although it looks like a few things might be changing in Texas. But
yeah, I used to carry every day, and now in Alabama, it's real loose, man. Like, you can do anything. Like, it's super loose in Alabama. And I would used to just keep one of mine in my I have a little holder in my truck. And that's where I would usually keep it. But it depends on what I'm doing. Like, if I'm going to a certain place or doing like a transaction, like buying a car or something, yeah, I take guns. Just in case I'm walking into some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to die.
I just don't think people that are from overseas, that they can't imagine like a place with that many firearms. Anybody could potentially, and cities that you think don't have firearms, they have the most firearms. So.
Yeah. And that's why shit never happens. great thing to bring up is you'll see like TikTok trends where guys just run up to random people and harass them, or run into random people's houses, or like jump into people's cars and drive it away as a TikTok trend. Obviously, they get out eventually and like, haha, it's a prank, bro. There's a reason why this shit doesn't happen in the South.
Yeah.
Because if you cross a threshold in the South, especially in rural South, you will be the first, like, you'll be the first death in that city in like 10 years.
You notice that we have a we have a stereotype about being neighborly and nice. Firearms work into that too, because you're a lot more cordial to people when you think, hey, they may just go vendetta on my ass.
Yeah. And we will. Like, that's the point is there's what we don't realize is what makes somebody a good person, or especially a man, I think in general, what makes a man a strong-minded, good person is the fact that he can be extremely dangerous and not use it. Because otherwise, why are you being good in the first place? Or if you're not capable of doing damage, and that's why you're good, then you're not strong, nor good. But if you're capable of doing damage and you keep that shit at bay, then you're a strong-minded, good man, in my opinion. Something I can't remember who said it. I think it was what's his face, the guy that cries a lot sometimes. What's his fucking name? Jordan Peterson said that. Because if the only reason you're not like being evil is because you don't have the capacity to do that, then yeah, you're probably not a good person.
Yeah, it's just like if you're afraid of, some biblical thing, like hell, for example. If that's the only reason, consequences, that you're not a good person. You're not at all.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Coco says, as a gal from crap hole known as Virginia, you need to be strapped, especially if you work at a hotel. That's for damn sure. Coco, be strapped, baby. Johnny, appreciate you, dude. Yeah, dude. You made a great point just 2 seconds ago, and now I forgot what it was, because I do this all the time when I read super chats. I fucking forget what I was talking about. What'd you say just now?
I don't even remember.
Damn, we're both doing it. Yeah. But yeah, Rebel Bird says smart tug. Two shot by 22. Yeah, 22. Man, that would be awful to get shot by a 22. Those little bastards. God,
dinging around on you. Oh man, I got shot one time with salt rock. That fucking horrible.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, man, so we used to go exploring. You go out, all these, we find abandoned like houses in the middle of nowhere and stuff. I went up on this one place, hopped the fence. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, ran down, roof caving in. Yeah, there's an old dude to live there, and he came out with a shotgun. And that's time to flee. You don't stop. You don't know what they do. So you also become almost magical. Like you can float. I went to go float above the fence, and when I jumped. I remember my foot hitting that fence. And about that time, bam, unloaded on me in my back. It's salt rock. Oh my God, that shit hurt.
Damn, that's insane.
Yeah, dude. It hurt, man. Because you're talking about little rocks of salt going into your body.
Oh Jesus! I've never had that happen.
It's better than being shot with metal, but wasn't very fun. It was a very good deterrent.
Shot you and you're running away.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're just running, God, right in the ass.
Like, oh my God, and kids, man, we were like really young kids,
dude. That's insane. Yeah, I did some stupid shit when I was a kid, though.
Yeah,
I remember one time I went to this guy's house and I just turned off. I went to his breaker box and just clicked the master thing, and then ran away. So he's like, "Oh wow, I have no power, and then my fridge is dead." That was stupid. I was a dumbass kid. Yeah, and the police came to my house, and of course they knew it was me for some reason. I don't know how.
Aren't you glad you didn't have the internet back when you were young?
That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure, man. Because when I was young, or when I was, I guess, early teens, that's when stupidvideos.com and like gore shit was starting to like hit everything, and it's like, oh my God, yeah, that was like the infancy of the internet.
Right.
Yeah, but God, dude, it was bad. It was bad when like the cops the guy did not press charges though. That was very nice of him. Yeah. So luckily I got out of that one. That was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. I remember one time I just got naked and ran on the road at like 3 a.m. That was stupid. Like, I don't even remember why I did that. And then there was that time I went to that girl's house that I met off Facebook. Or not Facebook, MySpace. Met this girl on MySpace, and I drove to her house. And then like I was like a kissless virgin. And I sneak into her window, and I'm not supposed to be there, by the way. I sneak into her window, and then for the first time in my entire life, I experience like this diarrhea thing, like pain, because I was nervous, and I'd never had this shit happen before. No pun intended. And I had to jump out of her window and run out of her driveway, and I just shit all over her driveway.
Oh no.
Because my car was parked like a mile down the road.
Oh no.
I just shit everywhere. And I just used my socks to wipe and just walked shamefully to my Jeep. It was wild. It was the dumbest shit I've ever done in my life. Like, yeah.
You know what I like about you? Like, you'll tell anything. Fuck. You're like, everything. Life, open book. Who cares?
Yeah, dude, it was wild. Like, I don't know if you've ever had anything. Is there not like a moment that pops in your head where you just like cringe, like, holy shit, I can't believe I did that?
Oh
I
yeah.
have shit like that.
Yeah, I think everybody has some moments there, where they think, man, like I said, I'm glad I didn't have the internet back when to catalog all my failures and stupidity.
Oh my God. I tell you what, dude. Yeah, I did some stupid shit, and I'm glad, because when I was growing up, the most we ever did was ride our bikes and do shit. And I remember one time we were riding down the road on our bikes, and there was just like this abandoned double wide trailer. And it was not abandoned, by the way. It was no one lived in it. Right. And now this was not me, but I was with the person, and I had a friend, and he was one of those fucked up like kids that was just like wild. He ended up getting arrested like thousands of times after I left, and he still lives down, I think, on that same road. But we went to that thing, and this dude like catches the double wide trailer on fire, like purposefully, and it burns to the ground. And we just ride home, and that's the last I ever heard about it. And it just burnt it, and he burnt somebody's freaking trailer down, and it was like a double wide trailer, right? So it was like basically a house. There was no wheels and shit,
right?
And yeah, it just burnt it down, and no one ever got in trouble.
Wow,
crazy. What if there had been a person in that bitch, man?
Yeah. I mean, well, looking back, when you think about consequences and stuff, the what ifs, I mean, whether I remember like driving crazy fast. Oh shit. Especially, out here in the nothing, man.
Yeah.
And I think, as I get older, man, what about people, or what if, just so many bad things could happen.
Yeah. So that's one of those memories that pop into my head. My first like crotch rocket motorcycle I ever got, I like hopped on that bitch. First time I ever hopped on it, and I went down like this straight, like a road, and just floored the bitch and got up to like 140 miles an hour. And I could like barely hang on. And I think back like to that moment, I was like, man, I could have died like at like any point. I just fell off and splattered. Like, and I think about it, and I'm like, oh God, I can't believe that bullshit. Oh God. Like,
yeah, I know it almost haunts you, when you think back to those things.
It makes like my body coil when I think about that kind of shit. I'm like, oh, I could have died at this point. I could have died. There was this time I was climbing this like rock wall when I was like 12, a little fat kid, by the way. And I was like climbing this rock wall that was like 20 feet high. And there's just like moss and water like draining down it. So I could have like slipped and splattered. And I made it to the top. And I was like, yeah, I made it to the top. And I'm thinking, like, what if I don't fail at like 16 feet and broke everything? Like, God, why was I such a dumbass as a kid, man?
Because you feel invulnerable, man. Back when, I mean, you don't think about consequences. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, and now I don't even run down my stairs or up my stairs. And when I say run, like, you know how you do it kind of fast, I don't even do that shit anymore. And it's because when I first bought this house, the staircase is massive. It's like really wide and massive, and it's got carpet, which I'm going to cap it soon, but it's got carpet, which is just terrible. And my German Shepherd was chasing me, and I thought it was fun. So I ran, and I go to get down the stairs, and I just like miss like 4 steps and just fly and splatter. And like my back hurt for like a month. And I was like, wow, that was awful. And then like 2 months later, I was late to get on Nick's show. It's like a Friday show. And I was running up the stairs. I was like 5 minutes late. And I just fell up the stairs. And I caught myself. And I looked at my hand, and my pinky was just pointing the other way.
Yeah,
and I
did that to my toe one time, man. Oh,
Did you crack it back into place?
Yeah. I just pulled it over and taped that thing back up.
Yeah, I just went keek, and it just cracked back into place. And I was like, wow. So now every time I get to the stairs, I have this urge to go fast. I don't know why. Like Lightning McQueen. I just get the urge. And then Yeah, I get to them and I immediately remember all that shit and I go really slow up and down stairs every time. Like, man, if I fall and bust something, because you could fall and like break your face, be done.
Oh yeah.
What's like the worst injury you've ever got?
I mean, I've broken my arm twice. I've broken my leg. Let's see, I've broken finger. I mean, I've had a lot. I've had a lot of injuries, man. You know, I can remember the best time that I actually did not really get injuries, and I'm shocked. Of all the times driving crazy and shit, I wasn't driving crazy. I drove around this S curve, you know, and there was a drunk guy walking home. Knew who the guy was actually, but I went to miss him. I was like, oh shit. Well, when I went around the second part of the S, my back tire caught a huge just divot in the road and it flipped my car up on its top. And I remember
Oh my
watching
God.
I remember watching the sky turn to concrete. You know, it was the craziest thing. Like it's still stuck in my brain where I could see it was a beautiful night out and I could see like stars and everything else. And just slowly the sky turns into road as it hits my window.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, walked away from that shit. Like I had an item in the car hit me. That was about it. But you know, but as far as injury, I don't know, man. Like I said, I've broken bones. I've broken my nose. I busted my lip open. You know.
Dude, so this one time I was riding a ATV, like a four-wheeler, and I was giving it the beans, and I was just driving it straight, and for some odd reason, the front left wheel, I just watched it go like left, and it just kept going over that way. And so basically my wheel just was not on my four-wheeler no more. So now I had a three-wheeler, and I was just driving down the road, and I was like, oh my God, because you know what happens if that catches the road, you're flying, right? You're just going to fly over the handlebars and be gone. And we didn't wear helmets and shit, you know, obviously. So the wheel just goes, and I'm like trying to slow it down, like, and be very mindful of slowing it down. And of course, it fucking catches it immediately and just flings me off. And I'm just like ragdolling and shit, hitting my face and stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't feel it, obviously. And I'm just splatting. And I stand up, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, I was like 16 maybe. And I was like looking around, and I was like, huh, okay. And I had like a few scratches and nothing else. It was the weirdest thing. I flew off a damn vehicle and just was ragdolling and just barely got hurt. It was the weirdest thing, man. Like, I was like, why did I not die? Like, I had like a scrape on my knee and like a tiny scrape on my chin.
Yeah,
Like,
those are those moments where you're like, holy shit, I got away with it.
yeah, dude. And my sister, probably around the same year, got into a four-wheeler accident and almost died. She was in the hospital for like a week. And I'm like, damn, I got real lucky. Like, but I think somebody hit her, actually. Somebody hit her on another four-wheeler, and she just she got hit by the four-wheeler and also fluked. And she was wearing a helmet, too. So if she wouldn't have worn a helmet, she'd have been super fluked. Just straight up brain dead, probably. It was brutal, man. It was freaking brutal. That was probably the time that I should have got hurt and I didn't. As far as worst injuries ever, I don't think I've ever actually had an injury. I've never broken anything, but I've broken my pinky twice, and I think it's the same one. And I'm like, I don't know why I keep breaking this fucking pinky, but I broke it twice in two completely different situations. Now, granted, when I was like 4 years old, the toilet seat fell and like sandwiched my pee-pee, and I had to go to the hospital. So that was pretty intense.
That's not fun at all.
That's one of my first memories, like as a kid, was just the toilet seat coming down and just decapitate my pee-pee. Like, now I didn't decapitate it, but damn, I tell you what, it was rough.
Yeah, that's something that's a horror story that wakes you up at night.
Yeah, that's probably why it looks like a pinky, because it just got stunted. It was like, yeah, I'm done.
Stunted it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not growing anymore. I just got the shit kicked out of me. It's not happening. Dude, it was crazy as fuck. And like, I was talking to somebody on this show, can't remember who it was, and they said the same shit happened to them. Like the toilet seat fell and smashed their penis. I'm like, how does that happen to multiple people? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's
I could see that, man. You know, I'm always dreadful. Like when I sit down on, you know, if I had to sit down on the toilet, I'm like, oh no, you know, I don't want to crush anything. All my goods, I need them in place.
Yeah, that's why when I'm real drunk, I sit down to pee. I'm like, yeah, I'm not standing up, dude. Because like, especially when I'm hungover, I'm like, yeah, I don't even feel like this. I'm just gonna sit right down and just be a woman for a while. I don't feel good. think that's a safe thing to do. It's a safe thing to do, man. So what do you got planned for the future? Like what do you got? Is there anything you're working on, pivoting towards? Any big projects? I know you had your last campaign for your last book that I remember backing. I don't remember which tier I backed.
We're still, yeah, with health, man, I fell behind on that. So we're finally, we're almost done. Finally, it's taken so long with that. It was supposed to be delivered already, but like I said, I had some major health. Like I said, had some heart issues actually. I was like, oh my god. So
yeah, you were in
put me down.
hospital for like a minute, weren't you?
Yeah, I had to run a lot of tests on me to make sure, I wasn't gonna die afterwards. Actually, the worst part of it was, they put you on medication, and medication kept fucking me up. So, I'd have to stay close to that because, if you're out here, I'm sure you have a little country hospital. It's probably like a death factory out there. So,
Yeah.
we have one of those. So I was like, no, I'm going to stay close to Nashville. Anytime they say that, if something happens to me. But yeah, it took, like 4.5 months to get things sorted. So as far as channel, I don't know. I've got to find something that I find interesting. If I find something that I lock in on, it's hard for me to cover multiple things. I would rather cover one damn thing. And that's. I just haven't found that one extra. I'm enjoying watching the fall off for her, the rise for,
dude. It's just beautiful. It's kind of beautiful to watch. I'm just glad. Like I'm glad that everything worked out, and she's just every single turn in the story is just negative for her because she deserves the shit out of it. So it's good to see, and the standing ovation that Johnny Depp got at that film festival or whatever was just glorious. And they try to rope Brie Larson in on it. Did you see that shit?
Yes, I did indeed. That was funny.
Fuck? What was her response to that question?
Her response at first was like, "Why are you asking me this?" And then I think she responded to the bait somewhat because she said, well, I don't know, and I don't know what my reaction will be, and that gives them enough to say, "Ooh, she's unsure." But I thought her first reaction of, "Fuck you, why are you asking me that?" was the right one.
Yeah, it's like I thought that there was she has a new like character arc, maybe like a new PR deal where she's like, I'm gonna go the opposite direction. So I'm not, because everybody hates her, right?
Mhm.
She's so unlikable that maybe there's a marketing team or a management team that's like, we're gonna make you do this now and be cool, because she hosted Jimmy Kimmel and her titties looked awesome. And before she was like, don't like never, absolutely ever, like objectifying women's evil, men are evil, Me Too, all that bullshit. And then she shows up on Jimmy Kimmel just with her titties literally out, and they look great. I gotta be honest. And I think she has a new arc. And when they try to bring her back into the Johnny Depp stuff, she's like, I don't give a fuck. And then she said, if I do see it, I'll let you know, insinuating that she would or would not watch it, and it has no bearing on Johnny Depp being in it at all. She's like, I don't care, which is great to hear. And kind of made me like her. Wait, hold on. Actually, let me go up. Helena says, do you watch anime?
Do I? Yes. Uh-huh.
I
read more manga than watch anime. I mean, it's become so I guess so known now, but back when it wasn't, I the thing that really stuck me with it was Death Note. I enjoyed the Death Note, and I don't know. I mean, I read a lot of manga like these days. I mean, with Berserk, I'm almost caught up with all the collected volumes. Blade of the Immortal, I've been reading. PTSD Radio. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I really like horror stories.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't read much, because that's the difference between like, me and you probably, as far as when you grow up in Alabama, you just don't read. When the first time I turned a TV on, I was like, oh, this is why this was invented. So yeah, I don't read, except I did read all of Preacher, like from back to front.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that. But as far as anime goes, I just don't watch it very often. And it's not that I don't like it. I just don't watch it very often. I watched Slime the time I was reincarnated as Slime. I watched all the way through that, and I enjoyed it. And other than that, I mean, I mean, there's the old ones like Trigun and stuff like that. All that shit. I like that. I loved Cowboy Bebop. Obviously not the Netflix show. So there's a lot of stuff that I like. It's just it's just not my go-to. For some reason, I watch like Coco and Moana.
I'm terrible with remembering that. Like Future Diary, I like that. You know, it just depends. I'll catch a lot of random stuff, but I can't. I'm terrible with names of stuff. I forget the damn names of it unless it's in front of me.
Yeah. That's how I am. If I'm thinking about something, I completely forget it. Thank you, Richard. He says the best anime is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I agree. Thank you so much, Richard. That's my joke, by the way. I appreciate you, Richard. Angel Australia says you missed 5 gifted subs. Hey Tug, yeah, it doesn't pop up on StreamYard, and if it's not on StreamYard, it's like it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's a mess. Hey, by the way,
yeah, thanks so much to my boy Rob, Holy Ozone, who was at my house all weekend. You're goated. I love you, baby. Thank you, for your 5 gifted subs. I appreciate you, dude. Dude, it's weird. Because I was like, hey, if you want to come, like somebody was like, hey, we want to come hang out at your house. And I'm like, well, you can. I don't care, you know, if you're somebody I already know. And the only person that did it was my mod, Rob. He just should come to my house. He planned it for 3 months out or something. And he just come, and we had a great time. We played Mario Party and just drank for like 3 days. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. But everybody else is a bitch. They say they're fans of me and they don't come to my house and hang out with me and drink and play Mario Party. So I guess
you're gonna have like all kinds of requests coming over your house now.
Yeah, that people take that joke real serious and be like, DM me, what's your address, bro? Let's do this. I'm like, no, it's a joke, man. Rob's special. You know,
they're gonna be, by the way, I'm on Tinder and slap me in the face.
Yeah, please slap me in the face. Like, no, we're not doing that bullshit. Not getting slapped in the face. Smoked says, I wish you would have dug that blue ground pounder to North Wilkesboro. Blue ground pounder. We got the GameStop, Lowe's, corn, water waiting on you. Are you talking about the 12 car? I wish you would have brought the 12 car. Yeah, it didn't have an engine in it during the North Wilkesboro thing. No engine. The engine bay is empty. I did buy an engine today. And I have my old engine, which I'm getting rebuilt, but I also bought a new engine too. Because I wanted to have 2. Because if this shit happens, I want a faster turnaround than like 3 months. So I can just pop it in, pop it out, be done. So yeah, got another one, and I'm gonna finish it up here very, very soon. So we're gonna do that. We don't need your address. We'll just take it from that girl at Twitch. That was years ago. I have a different house now. All right. She don't know my address. She did like message me on Snapchat the other day, and I just like kind of talked back and forth for 2 seconds, and then she has no personality, man. I just can't do it, man. You gotta have a personality. If you ain't got a personality, I just can't do it, man. That's what I'm into. Girls with personality. You ain't got one. I mean, I'm too old now.
Yep.
You know, just far too old for that shit. And again, I'd rather be alone. You know what I'm saying? Do you play many games, like video games?
I do. I've been playing Zelda while we've been talking.
Dude, I've been wanting to play the hell out of that, but I just haven't played it yet.
It's the shit, man. Did you like Breath of the Wild? If you did,
yeah,
it's Breath of the Wild with a lot more stuff added on, you know.
Dude. Now, would I need to play Breath of the Wild first? Like
no, you don't have to. It's just it's a continuation of that. If you knew the landscape and stuff like that, you'll recognize the game, but you don't have to play it to enjoy this. You can just go out and have some fun. So it's a lot. I like it. I like it a lot. I've been playing it for a while, and I've just been wandering around doing random shit.
Yeah, man, I need to do it, but there's something there. There's this weird thing. I don't know if you can talk to this or speak to this at all. There's this really weird thing where I can't make myself play games. It's almost like this. There's this weird anxiety where I'm like, man, I really want to play this game, right? But then I'm like, I build it up in my head and I don't want to do it because it's like I'm too like there's too much anxiety to even start doing it. It's really weird. It's like when The Witcher came out, Witcher 3, I think. I just could not play it because it was like I couldn't make myself do it. Too much anxiety. It's weird. And I don't know if you ever experience that shit, but I do all the time.
I find that there's so many different things that I want to do that I can't decide on something to do a lot of times. That's the problem.
Yeah, there'll be like so much shit that I'm just like there's just too much, and I'm just gonna do none of it and just sit here and like in silence.
Well, the good thing with games is my kids like games, but like my 9-year-old is getting where she can play stuff. But for me, she wants to see it, she wants to play through, she wants to, but she needs somebody to run her through it. So I'm like, well, that's a good reason for me to play. So,
Well, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, if I had somebody that was like, "Hey, sit down and play this with me," it'd be way easier. Because I like Mario Party, for example, never would play it. But when Rob was at my house, he's like, "You want to play Mario Party?" And I was like, "I guess." And we just sat down and we fucking played it. But if it's me alone, I ain't gonna play that shit. I'm not gonna play nothing. And it's been like that because my love for video games was reignited when Elden Ring came out, and I played the living shit out of it. I was like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever done." You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as I took 2 days off from playing Elden Ring, it was over. Didn't play it again. I was like, well, shit. Now I can't make myself play it anymore. I'm at that
When
point.
we got the Resident Evil 4 remake, we went through that game, I don't know, 8 times so far.
Oh, dude. See, that's what I wanted to play it so bad. And I even bought it. I bought it on Steam when it came out and haven't even played it.
It's good, man. I love that game. I love it. But I mean, obviously I love Resident Evil games anyway. I grew up on that. It kind of shaped my love for horror. So
Oh yeah. Well, now the old ones, I've probably played through Resident Evil 2 and 3 like over 1,000 times.
Yes. Oh God. My friend, we it's just like Silent Hill 2. We'd all drink and stuff, and you'd have to have somebody. It's almost like a designated game driver. The one person that can play drunk, and I could always play those games drunk.
Yeah, dude. God, yeah. I just love them so much. Mikey Likes It says Fight Milk Fun. Also, hey, Tuggerific.
Hey there.
Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate you. There was a question somebody freaking asked and it freaking's gone. Jesus, no, go back. Where'd it go? Jesus, it was a great question. No, please. Well, it's gone now. It's gone forever. Oh, God. There it is. Furby Slayer says Tug should do the VTuber thing. Have you ever thought about making your avatar like a VTuber? I guess that would mean you would have to be behind the camera moving around, and that would probably be.
I wouldn't mind that, but I'm tech deficient, so I don't know anybody that could make that. Yeah, if somebody would I'd pay for it. I'd try it out. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, and you could be the umbrella guy when you're like
move around in live streams. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's what you should do. For sure. Because if freaking Pippa does it with her character, and dude, she is just wild. She's just a energy level out the window, and I'm like, is she on the cocaine? She's on the cocaine. You had to be on something to be like that high energy all the time. She's just wild as fuck. Now, granted, when before the show and after the show, in like the back room, after you go, you're not live anymore. Mm-hmm. She's like just super chill. Like super chill, and then you're live, and she's like, "Woo!" Just what I'm saying. I'm like, how do you make yourself do that shit? Man?
I can't. Like I know people who, on YouTube they have personalities. Man, I'm the same way all the time.
Yeah, that's how I am. But there's some times where my energy is just so much lower.
Oh yeah. So much I have some days where I'm 10 times the energy. I don't know. I don't want to put on airs. I don't want to pretend to be anything. It's too much effort,
Yeah. Yeah, it depends, because sometimes my energy's through the damn roof for some reason. And I'm just like, woo, and then sometimes I'm just like, I don't think I can stream. Like I can't do it. And that's actually why when I started the CAMELCAST, I was streaming it was just me always. And I did that for years. And I was talking about, subject matter or whatever. And it got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. Like every stream, I dreaded every single stream. Every stream. I was like, I just don't want to do this. I can't do this. And I was like, I need to do something different. So I just text Anna. And I was like, hey, you want to come on like my show? And it was like, and I just randomly text her. I was probably drunk. And she was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And she came on like within 1 day's notice, and we did the first CAMELCAST, and it was awesome. And I was like, I'm just going to try doing this. And now it's like 37 episodes in, and just it's awesome. You meet so many. I mean, I had a donut operator on. He was great.
Yeah, man, I like donut operator. I like his video. I've never interacted with him like legitly, but I like his stuff, man.
Yeah.
He seems like he would be a lot of fun to mess with.
Dude, we bonded with over White Claw, because everybody calls me a bitch. Even Pippa called me a bitch. Even Pippa's little ass called me a bitch. And fucking donut operator with his giant beard was like, "Yeah, dude, White Claws kick ass." And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, yeah, finally, the one person." And
yeah,
he's,
I mean, they're awesome for a bitch beer. No, I'm just kidding. No, I hate White Claws. I think they're gross.
What is it like? Is it the TV static taste that you don't
Yeah,
like?
it's just I don't know. Oh, like if I'm drinking some, see, I don't want beer either. If I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink, area probably Jack. That would have been my go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I used to drink a lot of Jack, and then Nick made me try like really top shelf whiskey and I almost died, but then now I prefer it. So that's just I kind of what is it? Woodford Reserve. I've been drinking a lot of Woodford Reserve. Like it a lot. Mixing it with Coke and just sipping on it. But the issue is when I drink like 4 Jack and Cokes, like I start getting real turnt and like I'm like feeling like drunk. Whereas I can drink White Claws for 6 hours, just keep drinking, and I'm just like kind of slightly buzzed, and I'm like, this is great, But I'll start getting drunk off whiskey, like real fast, and it's scary. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to. Then there was a time where these bastards in the chat were making me do. I don't know if you've seen Fight Milk, but man, I was doing it every single stream. Because the super chats like were outrageous, and they're like Fight Milk, and then I would get to one stream where I didn't have to do it, and I'm like, thank God, dude. And then like somebody would donate $200, and I'm like, fuck. And then I have to do Fight Milk, and I have a headache, and I feel gross afterwards because it's eggs and shit. Yeah, it's brutal. There was like 6 streams in a row or 5 streams in a row. And then, well, I guess 6 or 7 in a row because Pippa Monday. We hit it, but Pippa's a VTuber, obviously. How's she gonna do Fight Milk? But yeah, dude, it was insane. I'm just tired. I'm just so tired of liquor for a minute. So I've just been drinking almost exclusively White Claw. Ryu, don't try me, Camelot. I'll come to your house and make you hang out with me. Thank you, Ryu. I appreciate that. I don't mind, dude. I don't mind. As long as I know you kind of in real life. Like all the people that have come to my house are people that have been to like 4 of my meetups. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is fine, So it doesn't bother me at all. That's actually a good. Like, have you ever had a meetup or like met like
Matsuri and stuff? I had, I mean, I was there at Matsuri, hanging around and goofed off, but I've never had. Now I don't care. Like I don't really care about the identity thing. I just, it's when I started this, I didn't think about identity. I actually thought I would rather people hear what I'm saying. It's not about my face on the screen. It's about like the words out of my mouth. So that's the way I kind of approached YouTube. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind a meetup. I just haven't really, not yet. I want to go to I don't know if it'll be this year, but I want to go to something at least probably next year after everything's situated and stuff. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to Matsuri, obviously. And that's going to be great. But, sometimes, so this is what people do. So the last 2 I've went to, like me and Nick did a show in Vegas, and people just kept bringing me alcohol, trying to kill my ass.
Yeah, I don't drink that much anymore. Like I'm cutting that out, again, health stuff. I'm cutting out a lot. The one vice I'm holding on to, I like to smoke a cigar. That's about it. But like I'm trying to cut it out, man.
You don't drink, right?
Oh, well, I mean, I would drink some, like for Flashcast, like we would drink, and I mean, I get sloshed every now and then, but by and large, I recreationally drink. I don't drink a lot. So,
what's your worst experience from getting like blackout? Have you ever been blackout just destroyed?
Oh yeah, man. Yes. I've been. I used to do all kinds of shit. I used to, drop acid and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, I've never done that, but I've always wanted to try it. But like, what's the worst because I had one where I went to where did I go to? I went to a club with some girl, and she kept handing me whiskey shots. Her and her friends were handing me whiskey shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I drank a lot of them. And all I remember was walking upstairs, and then I woke up beside my car in a parking garage at 8 a.m.
I woke
And,
up I woke up at a party one time on a riding lawnmower. I had a parent. I don't know how that happened, but I woke up in a riding lawnmower, crashed into somebody's inflatable pool. So I'd ran into
what
the
the
side of it.
fuck?
Yeah, I was like, "How the fuck did this happen?"
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I'm just like now I don't drive. I'm really good about that. When I'm drunk, I'm like, yeah, I can't drive. There's no way I'm driving right now. If I'm like a little drunk, nope, not driving. Sorry, bro. But dude, I have friends that like the first thing they want to do when they get drunk is give me my keys.
right.
I'm like, what? Why? No, I'm gonna go for a drive, bro. I'm like, no, you're not. What the fuck's wrong with you? You're fucking drunk as fuck.
Yep.
It's I don't know, like, why is that? Why would you want to do that? Why
I
would
know
you ever want to do
people.
that?
A lot of irresponsible people, man. I've known a lot of them. I think I've gotten more responsible over time. You know, as I get older again, I notice how irresponsible people I've known are. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, getting out, doing whatever. I mean, hell, there's a freedom to it. It's nice to go out, run around in your car, especially if you're fucked up.
yeah, I guess.
No, I mean, I'm not going to do that myself. I
No.
think, yeah, that's probably why.
Now, granted, I didn't start drinking until I was 27.
Mm.
That's the first time I ever got drunk was when I was yeah, I think no, I was 26 first time I got drunk, and then I turned 27 right after that. But I never drank when I was younger, and then I started drinking, and it was great. But I had a few shit. I was in damn Vegas 2 months ago and blacked out and threw up everywhere. It was awful. It's Nick's fault. I'm gonna be honest. Some bitch. He's like,
Yeah.
here's some mystery whiskey that's really smooth, and it was. But it was like really high alcohol content, and I drank like 4 shots, and it was like the end of the world. It was insane. It was just outrageous. I threw up all over. Dude, I was laying in a bed and I just projectile vomited everywhere. And this girl that was hanging out with me that I got to the room, yeah, she fucking dipped out. When I threw up.
Can't blame her there.
She's like, yeah, I'm leaving. I was like, all right, whatever. Like and then I went to the steam room because there was a sauna in our room. And I went and laid in the sauna and it like completely like revitalized me. It's pretty cool. Sauna's the way to go if you're feeling fucked up. Furby Slayer says, man, why do I keep hiccuping? Where you stand on Fight Milk and Naked Snake? Oh shit, I don't know. Man, I can't even do the math. It's like 125 to Naked Snake. And then just add the Fight Milk onto that. Thank you, Furby. I love you. Hope you're doing well. It was Barrel Dovetail. Yes, that's what it was. That's what he gave to me and made me drink. He forced it down my throat. And then I died. You ever had Barrel Dovetail?
I have not.
Yeah, it's very smooth, but it also almost killed my ass.
Sounds wonderful.
No, thank you. I would rather die. And then there's the THC, which that was also I was like 31, I think, the first time I ever tried like THC of any kind. And I ate an edible at a girl's house. And I got so messed up. And I was like in a shower laughing. And it was funny because, okay, keep in mind, I've never been high before, right? So everybody makes fun of me. But I was in like a shower and she was in the shower with me. And she's like, don't start laughing. And I was like, what? And she's like, don't stop laughing because you can't stop. And I was like, what? And then I just started laughing. And I literally laughed and was crying. Like I laughed for like 20 minutes, like I was dying. And then I laid on her bed and I was flying through space, dude. I was like seeing images and shit. Like I was tripping and I was like, what is happening? And she was like, do you want to have sex? And I was like, nope, absolutely not. And I had like not hooked up with this girl yet. And she was hot. And I was like, nope, get away from me. Don't touch me. I'll freak out right now. Like I can't move. Like it was wild. Have you ever had a weird edibles experience?
I've had all kinds of weird acid experiences. I ended up in a mall sometime on acid, and I remember going into a Hello Kitty store, and it was really weird because I'd taken these are double dip acid, so it's like taking 2 hits. They're weird. They taste like electricity hitting your tongue. It's like they dissolve in your mouth. Yeah, it's a strange feeling, and when they hit hard. So I said 2, and probably more than that. Actually, it's probably more like 4. So, I mean, I was fucked up. And I went in there and they had this little, I can't remember a lot. It's just bits and pieces, but I remember picking up this thing of erasers. You know how the little eraser heads in there.
Yeah.
And I looked in there, and they were moving around, and it looked like they were. And apparently, I remember yelling out, "Oh shit, they're multiplying!" And then I looked around, and I'm in a kid's store. I'm like, oh no, I'm in this little kid's store, fucking tripping out of my mind.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude.
I ended up with 13 Furbies one time when I was tripping because Furbies, I don't know if you've ever messed with them, but they speak like gibberish. They speak
Yeah.
Furbish. Well,
Yeah.
I got so fucked up that I could understand them. So I lined them up and they, they'll talk to each other. So I lined them up in a circle. Oh, they were the best thing ever until I sobered up.
You lined up what, 13 Furbies?
Yeah, you can line them in a circle and listen to them talk to each other. Be like, "Oh, shoot this shit, Furby. That's funny."
Dude, that sounds awesome.
It was.
Holy shit, I want to do that. I just want to put them all around me and get fucked up. And just
Yeah,
listen to them
man. I
freaking
mean, you get so
conversing.
fucked up that they're, they make sense. It was awesome.
They just make sense.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh
man,
my
that
God.
Furby, yes, Furby is the smartest fucker I've ever met.
Oh, this one, dude. He like you have like their whole life stories planned out and shit,
It was
Fucking
something
Furbies.
bad.
dude. And that's what happens when I do edibles. Is I will have the most just craziest thoughts, and I will think they're so important, right? Until I realize how stupid I am. Like I remember one time I was driving through Colorado. I was in Colorado and I had taken an edible, and I was driving to this spot where I could hike, right? And I'm driving and shit, and I'm like, wow, this edible's not hitting me. And he said it was a fast acting edible, right? So I'm like driving because I bought it at some store, and I'm like, and I'm just driving, and I look over, and there's a pen of horses. It's like out in the fucking country in like Colorado. There's a pen of horses, and then right across this little dirt road was a pen of cows. And I saw them, and my friend was with me, and I look over to her, and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I had like, it was so important to me. Like, I was like, oh my God, I just had a fucking revelation, and it's going to change everything I've ever thought. And I look over at her, and I'm like, do you ever think that horses are racist? As soon as the words came out, because keep in mind, they were important at the time. And then like, as soon as the words came out, I just started laughing, and I couldn't stop fucking laughing for like 20 minutes. And I at that moment, and I just thought like 4 seconds before that I was like, wow, this isn't kicking in at all. I'm not high at all. It's weird, And I look over and have the horse racist thing happen, and I say it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm fucking super high. Oh my God. I just realized it out of nowhere, And I was like, oops. I'm high as fuck.
I had a bad trip one time. I was in this little town called Millersville, and they have like a fireworks show every year. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna drop some acid, watch it. It's great. So I went out there, I couldn't drive or anything. Somebody took me over there, blah, blah, blah. I'm watching it. And then I realized, like, it just had an epiphany. I was like, they have their fireworks thing. It's right at a gas station. Like, it's right there. And on acid, I mean, that's dumb anyway, right? I was like, holy shit, they're going to blow this up. But on acid, oh my God, that is a nightmare scenario. I'm trying to, I could barely move. Somebody got me a chair. I could sit down. I could barely move. I had rubber legs and everything. I was like, oh, well, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember trying to crawl away from there. Oh, it was awful.
Dude, I had so I was in Vegas, and I didn't know like milligram. I didn't know any of that, right? I was just in Vegas, and this guy was like, hey, here's some gummies. And I'm like, all right, I'll take 3 10s. Why? I don't know. So I take 3 10s. And of course, my dumb ass is like, oh, it's been 20 minutes. It's not, I guess this isn't affecting me. I need more. You know how it is. And then it's like 4 hours later. And then I took a 50. And that was, knowing now what I know, I only take like 15. That's all I would ever take now. But I took 80.
Oh, no.
And I was sitting in this room, like full of like people that like mods and like meetup people. And it was like the first night there. And all these people, the first time they were ever talking to me. And one of my friends takes a 50, and it nuked her as well. And then I look over at her, and she's like hiding, like in a chair, like with her face buried into the chair, laughing at nothing. And I was like, wow, she's really high. And then I start like spiraling into like darkness. And I'm just sitting here like looking at nothing, and like all I see is black. All I can remember is black, to be honest, which is fucked up. And this girl kept saying, this girl that like I had just met that came to a meetup was like, "Did you hear what I said?" And I like looked up and I'm like, "What?" And she's staring at me. And I'm like, "What?" Well, I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything right now. And she looked so pissed. And then like I was just back in the blackness. And then all of a sudden she'd be like, "Are you listening?" And I looked up and I'm like, "Oh my God, what's fucking going on?" Like I couldn't hear her. And everybody was just laughing, but she was pissed. But everybody around her was laughing. And I was like, "Oh God, oh God." And I found out later that she's like trying to have a serious conversation, like a heart-to-heart conversation
Oh no.
about how she like feels about me.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? And she's such a sweet girl, man. I feel so bad. Like, cause I was fucked up. I was just not I could not have that conversation. But she was having this like heart to heart with me. And I was more high than I've ever been. And she got real mad. And she never came into a stream again. And she was like, "Fuck that guy." And I remember sitting there wanting to leave so bad, but I was so scared to say anything. And eventually, finally, like one of the bros in the room was like, "I'm gonna take Cody to his room," and I was like, "Oh my God, yes!" I like, "Oh my, thank God!" And he took me to the room, and I fell on the bed, and I blacked out, and it was the craziest shit. And I've never been so high to where I didn't even know where I was. Like I was like in another dimension, and all I remember when I think back is black, and then her face saying, "Did you hear me?" And then back to black, and then, "Are you listening?" Back to black. And I'm like, "Oh my God." That's all I remember from that. And then my friend Colton's face laughing. That's all I remember.
I went to you know the movie People Under the Stairs? Have you ever
Oh
seen
my
that?
God, that movie used to
Okay.
scare the shit out of me.
So I saw that in a theater. They were playing it again, and it was one of the first times I'd ever taken muscle relaxers. I'd been given some pretty damn strong shit. I had no idea about them. The guy was like, "Take one," so I think I took 5. I don't remember.
Oh
So anyway,
God.
I'm sitting there and I'm melting into the chair, and this is the greatest movie ever. You know, it's the funniest movie ever. The car chase is great. Then I find out it wasn't funny. It didn't have a car chase in it. I was probably the most like the most awful jackass in there, because I remember being like, that's the best, funniest shit ever. And I mean, I remember vividly there was a car like a car chase in it. Shit, and there wasn't.
Yeah. Dude, I just like a month or two ago, I took like an edible or something, and I was watching Black Sheep with Chris Farley. And there's this scene in the movie where he's falling down a hill, like rolling down a hill, and he's screaming because he's rolling down the fucking hill. And it made me so uncomfortable because it felt like it was happening for 30 minutes. And I was like, he just kept falling down the hill. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah, when time
oh!"
slows down, you're
Just
like, oh my
for
God.
like, it felt like 20 minutes. And I look over at my friend and I'm like, "How long is this scene?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "This is forever. Why is this happening forever? He's falling down the hill forever." And she's like, "What? He's not." And I'm like, "What the fuck's happening?" Like, he just kept falling down the hill. And I'm like, "Why is this happening?" And dude, it was, I've come to a point where it doesn't matter what I take, like edible wise now. I just have bad fucking trips every time. It's like, no matter how low, I feel terrible. And I'm like, "I don't like this. I don't like it anymore." And it sucks because I had a great trip. I was like hiking in Colorado. I was up in the damn mountains, dude, and it was snowy. And I took an edible, and it was awesome. It was like ethereal, like Lord of the Rings. And I cannot recapture that. It's all bad now. And I don't know what to do. You know, I have all these gummies, just stacks of them, but I'm like scared of them. I like see them in the cabinet, and I'm like, nope.
You just got to have, like, if you're going to do something like that, you just have to have the right setting, you know, the right mindset, the right people around you. I mean, that all works into it.
God, Jesus. My friend, okay, so I have a friend, and he makes his own edibles, right? And of course, he's become very proficient at it, so he will make stuff that will kill you. Like he'll make a batch of tea. That's like a pitcher, by the way, of tea. And he'll be like, hey, how often do you take edibles? And I'm like once in a while. And he's like, okay, like I want you to take a sip of that tea and put it down and never touch it again. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I take a sip of the tea. I'm in Florida or some shit on the beach. Take a sip of the tea and I'm tripping balls, right? Well, my old roommate, she's this tiny little girl, tiny badger. She's like, oh, I'm a badass. And she takes like 3 giant swigs of this tea.
Oh no.
And she's sitting on the couch for like 20 minutes. Keep in mind that shit takes a while, right? It was like 20 minutes later. And she's like, oh, and she just gets up and goes into the bedroom in pitch blackness. And she stays in that bedroom for 18 hours. And if you open the door, I remember I checked on her. I opened the door. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, close the door. Don't speak. Close the door. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh my God. And she came out like 18 hours later and she was like, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, bro, you almost died. And she said she was sitting there and every time somebody would open the door, it was just like a demon figure. And and she would be like, please shut the door, please leave. I'm like, oh my God, dude. It's just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible.
The high munchies you were talking, like, oh, I'm so hungry. Oh God.
Yeah. The Black Sheep movie, man. I was eating Doritos. I found a bag of Doritos, man. And I never have Doritos in my house. And I was high as fuck. And I opened my cabinet and there was a fucking bag of Doritos. And I was like, why are you in here? And it was like the fiery hot ones or whatever, whatever they're called. I don't remember. And dude, I tell you what, man, I was like, oh, I ate the whole bag. I'm like, God. And usually I'd eat like 3 and then put it away. Dude, I smashed that shit. I was so high. Speaking of so high, Trent Westbrook, my boy, what's up, dude? How you doing, buddy? Did you miss my Pippa stream? I feel like you missed my Pippa stream, bro. That was the legend. The legend. You want to know how that happened, Tug?
How's that?
So Pippa is growing really fast, but Pippa has a management team, right? And I was real drunk, and I was telling, who was I telling this? Wicked Virtue, Amanda. She's a YouTuber that's newish, and she's like, "How do you get all these guests on your show?" And I'm like, "Well, when I'm drunk." And it's almost always when I'm drunk, unless I know them like you or something. When I'm always drunk, dude, I will pull up my phone and I don't give a fuck how big the creator is, how well known they are, how corporate they are. I'm like, hey, bro, you come on show, bro. What's up? I just do when I'm drunk, I don't care. And I messaged Pippa Wednesday or Thursday of last week. And I was like, hey, you should come on show because I was drinking. And she fucking responded immediately. She's like, I can't. Whatever day I told her. She's like, but maybe Monday. And I was like, let's do it. And then she's like, but don't tell anybody. And I was like, all right, cool. And then Monday came and I was like, she's definitely not going to come on my show, right? Because they wouldn't let her go on, her management team wouldn't let her go on Nick's show. She wanted to go on Nick Recada's show and they wouldn't let her. And everybody was tripping balls because they're like, wow, you cucked Recada. You cucked Recada. How did you get You're way more of a degenerate than Nick is. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's true. I don't get it either. She told me why in private, why she came on my show or why she was able to. All I do is I just message people. Donut operator. I just messaged him. I DM'd him. I was like, bro, your name's Cody? My name's Cody. That's crazy. And he was like, he's like, wow, another Cody. And he's like, are you from Alabama? Because somebody tagged him. And I was like, yeah, I'm from Alabama. And he's like, holy shit, I'm from Alabama. And I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. And then he just came on my show. And then he was like, come to my range, man, shoot some guns. And I was like, hell yeah.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, the day I was supposed to fly out there, I was so sick. I had like COVID or something. And I texted him. I'm like, dude, I don't think I can do this, man. And he was like, dude, it's totally cool. He's like, I'll just come to the next one. I was like, all right, cool. Dude, I had to get on a plane and I could barely move. So no thanks. But yeah, that's how I got every single person I've ever had on my show. That I didn't know already. I just messaged them and she's like, Wicked Virtue. It's like, I'm so nervous about it. I'm like, just fuck message.
Just don't care. That's the thing.
Well, she
just stop caring.
Yeah, exactly. Like Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I really want Anna on my show. And I'm like, fucking message her.
Yeah, fucking ask her. Anna will do.
Yeah, and she's like nervous. She's like, I don't know. I'm just scared that you message her. I'm like, fucking message her. Message that dumb little bastard. And I will say yes. I will message her myself and be like, "You better go on the show, damn you." And now she's going on her show Saturday. I was like, "See, just message people, bro. It's easy, you know." And she's a cute girl, dude, bro. If you're a cute girl, you are fucking solid. You know what I'm saying? If you're a cute girl, man. If I was a cute girl, Tug, could you imagine? Could you imagine? That's what Pippa told me. We were talking, and she was like, "Yeah, dude, if you were like a hot girl, you'd have like 10 million subs right now.
Yeah,
with your like content and personality." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I'm pissed." You know, like,
I know. I feel robbed.
all I have is my mustache, and it's apparently gay. Pippa said. She said it's gay, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Pippa. I appreciate that."
I don't know. It reminds me of a porn stash, so it's very...
That's what I think. It's like a Della and Hart porn stash. You know, I like it. I think it's cute. You know, so well, anyways, dude, we could probably go all night, but I keep looking at the time, and then it's like way later, and I'm like, holy shit, you know. So I don't want to keep you on forever, but I already asked you what you're working on. Did you have a Rumble?
I I have not really. Yeah, I've got one, but I don't really use it that much. You know, I just it's hard for me to manage it. But there are the thing about Rumble, like setting up, you know, the shit through StreamYards, having to link it in there. Man, I'll set up my live streams while I'm out because I have a day job. You know, I'm out in the middle of fucking podunk half the time, and I just can't do that, man. So I'm trying to figure out a way to actually manage that, but I haven't managed it so far.
Yeah, dude, it's as far as all the apps go, Rumble's been the best for me for like an alternative. And you know, just the earnings. Like there was a time where I lost like I had like a couple small sponsors, and I lost all that shit in 1 month because for some odd reason YouTube's like, fuck you. Like I went from getting like 40-50K per video to like 9K 1 month out of nowhere.
Right. I remember that actually. I remember when they were setting on you, man.
And it did not recover for a while, so I lost all my sponsors immediately. And I was like, well, this sucks. And then Rumble messaged me, and they're like, hey, come stream on Rumble. So I just made my Rumble shit. And dude, it started like I was making like 25% of my income's Rumble. And I was like, that's insane considering, you know, it's a different platform. Usually it's like 1% of your other income. So I've been really adamant about doing it now just because it's just performing well, and I'm getting like 1,000 followers a week on it. I'm like, all right, we'll just keep fucking doing that like forever. And maybe it'll become viable, maybe it won't. I don't know. But the people I have a dude I can text right now on Rumble, and he'll like fix anything I need. Like they didn't pay me once, and I was like, I didn't get paid, and he's like, oh, let me look into it, and they fixed it like immediately. So, whereas in YouTube, you're like, hey, I need help, and they're like, we understand your concern. Here's an automated message. I'm like, what the fuck? That doesn't even pertain to the thing that you have wrong, like at all.
The one that I had locals is Rumble. So I mean, they're the same thing. I had an issue with locals. I put up a video. It's the guy that is suing Ricada, and he did a false copyright claim on it, and they just pulled it. They didn't, no process, no nothing. They just pulled it. So, I talked to the guy about it, and they were good about communication, but you know what? They never did anything about it. So I was like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? On
locals?
Dude? Yeah, locals.
Interesting.
Man. Yeah. So and that kind of, I was like, again, I like what they stand for. I like the idea with that, but they have got to set up a system because all of these are going to be issues. One day somebody's going to, and they had less of a system for false copyright than YouTube does. That's pretty fucking awful.
Yeah. I think I heard about that when that happened as well. And I've never posted anything on locals except for like a race video once. Mm-hmm. So I guess they just don't have a team in place or a system that can even, I guess,
what they need to do is figure that out. Like I was like, you guys need to figure this shit out because you're going to get hit with it, sooner or later, and especially as a free speech platform. But again, besides that, I mean, I've liked them quite a bit. I think that out of viable platforms, they will be if there's going to be any YouTube alternative that works, it will be them.
Yeah, I agree. Brandon Jensen says, any plans on getting Armored Skeptic on? I need to know more about the
Armored Skeptic. That'd be interesting.
Armored Skeptic. Oh, I need to let me Google that real quick because that sounds super familiar. But now, I can't.
I remember. Yeah, they're part of that. The whole Skeptis, like with Sargon of Akkad and all that back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Shoe on Head. I think he was with Shoe on Head for a while.
yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah,
I don't know if he still is. I don't know. I haven't got it in a while, but yeah, I liked him. I thought he was good.
Billy Hatcher says, "Someone do a red boy so we can have a rainbow night and Nugget Snake." Billy Hatcher, ain't nobody got to do nothing. I appreciate you though, Billy. I love you. Where did it go? There's a gold boy. Shanny, when you bringing Zayd on? Shit, I was supposed to bring Phil on like a long time ago, and I just didn't. So I need to do that. Thanks for reminding me. I love you, Shanny. I appreciate you so much. Cajun Queen with a $10 tip and CC with a $10 tip. Another great guest tonight, Tug. And Cajun Queen, sorry, been in and out. I love you. I appreciate you so much for all your love. You're too good to you, boy. Let me cover a few of these big old fat delicious super chats before we log off this bitch. Shanny, look at this. Oh my god, what amazing. With all the ducks. Yeah, so I don't remember what happened. I think you rated me or something. Maybe. Back like back in the day when you just tell people to go to this link or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Shanny came from that. And then Shanny's been here ever since then. So that was pretty cool. That was probably the same thing what happened with Ray, because he's also one of your boys and he's been here as well. Billy Hatcher's just a bitch. I appreciate you, Billy Hatcher. I love you. You're goated as hell for all the pink ass boys. What days do you normally stream, Tug?
I try to stream on weekdays. It just depends on work. I try to stream on weekdays every weekday, but the last couple of days, I'm just getting back to everything too. I'm trying to get everything back in the flow.
Yeah, you took like a month off at one point, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty much. I did for 2 months. I went down to like 13 videos from like 60, and I haven't gotten back to that yet. So
13 videos a month.
Yeah, 13 for the month versus 60 in a month. Yeah,
I do like 7 a month. I do like 7. I can't do something about it. I just can't make myself do it. I don't know why. I guess that's better than 0. But I think the most I ever did was 13, actually. 13 or 14 was the most I ever did in 1 month.
Really? I like doing videos.
That's probably why you get so many views, because you're just consistent as fuck. Whereas me, not so much. I just can't do it. I stream too much. Or I don't even stream too much. You stream more than my ass. So like I have no excuse, Doug. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, you lazy bastard. What's up?
I'm just lazy as fuck. I'm like, oh no, it's because I stream. Then I realize you stream every day. I'm like, oh shit, never mind. I suck. I apologize.
No, when I started out, I ground. I didn't have, like you were talking about success off the top. I didn't have that because I was covering I covered comic content at first more than anything. And yeah, man, I was grinding out like 2 videos and a live stream a day, and it worked, but it took time. So I fell into that, with the job and everything else though, man, that grinds you down after a while too.
How long did it take you to hit 100K subs?
3 years probably.
That's not that bad, actually. That's pretty good. That's pretty solid.
I mean, I've like people get confused. I had a channel. I had like a parking lot. I didn't really put anything on here. I had a channel, but I didn't use it until about, I think, 2017. So it was about 3 years, and then bam, and then the trial blew it up from there.
Yeah, that was me. I started my channel, and I would put like a guitar video, like a guitar cover of me playing guitar, like once every 2 years, randomly. And for no reason, and it get like 0 views, and I didn't really pay attention. I just used it for watching YouTube. And then 2018, I put up my first like video, like my style now. And I got like, I think, I don't know, a couple hundred subs like immediately from that first video, and then nothing. And then it was like, ha! And then I hit like 100K in like 7 months from that. It's crazy. And then it kind of stopped, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. The 100K thing, I told my buddy Fantavision this. I was like, bro, once I hit 100K, there's going to be a weight lifted. And I don't know why. It was like an arbitrary goal I had. Mm-hmm. And I thought that, once I hit that, and a lot of people told me this, once I hit that, it'll be $1 million now, and I won't ever rest until I hit that, and I won't be satisfied. Nope. that weight lifted off at 100K and it never came back. I'm totally fine with it now. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's me. You know, I've got to bleed off some people from the trial. I get people that politics and all kinds of shit. You know, I got to bleed some of them off, and I just don't care. You know, I never thought I'd make it past 20,000 subs. I remember when I started, there was a channel covering comics, and they had 20,000. I was like, oh my god, so many subscribers. You know,
that happens sometimes. Every now and then, I'll see a channel. There's this guy I used to watch. I can't remember his name. It was like Empty Box or something. He was like a sim racer. And one of his videos, he like put out a video like, I don't know, like 2 years ago or a year ago. And I saw his channel pop up and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that dude. And I pulled his channel up. I'm like, dude, I used to watch this dude like every video he put out. And I go to his channel and he had like 18K subs. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
I was like, holy shit, I have 200K. Like, and I always thought, I was like, man, if only I could get 10,000 subs, that would be the coolest shit ever in the world. And like, it's just sometimes like I'll just be sitting there drinking, watching Moana. And I'm like, I can't believe I have that many subs, 200. That's insane.
It's absolutely nuts. I remember when I didn't have 1,000, you know, Yellow Flash, he started up about that. That's why like I've known him since I really started. And you know, he didn't have 1,000 subs, and we were sitting around trying to figure out how the fuck do you get 1,000 subs? You know, how do you get to that monetization level now? So it's kind of unreal to go back and think about.
Yeah, and you know what pisses me off? Like the fact that I'll find a channel I think is cool, but I really like this person, and I'll just like raid them twice, and they have 1,000 subs, and I'm like, man, that never fucking happened to me. Like for years, you know, for that first 4 or 5 months before the algorithm was like, here you go, bro. Like it was like pulling teeth. It was
that's what, you know, with Ray, like people would be like, shout me out. And I will if I like a channel. But I was like, man, I don't remember anybody ever shouting me out, you know, back in the day.
It did happen fast when I started though. When the algorithm grabbed my channel, I had like 10 or 15 GameStop videos. So it didn't just grab that one video. It led people into the other ones. And every time I put out a video, it'd get 100K views.
Yeah, and when you were going on Flashcat, you know, I can't remember who said, they were like, "Oh man, Cody's coming on," and I was like, "Who the fuck is Cody?"
Yeah,
they were like, "The GameStop guy." I was like, "Oh shit, I know who that dude is." Yeah, you know?
Yeah. I remember when I started putting out videos, and when the algorithm started recognizing everything, people were like, very large YouTubers were making videos about me. And they were like good videos. They were like, you know, this guy talking about this GameStop, and like my subs go up 20K in like a day because somebody with 1 million subs will make a video about it. And that was just got real lucky that those people chose to make videos. It's like when what's that dude's name? Charlie, old Penguin.
Oh yeah, Penguin Zero. Yeah.
If he makes a video about you, you're fucking nuclear now.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it worked. Is Review Tech USA made 2 videos about me. And I know I've known Rich for years now. And then Clean Prince Gaming made 2 videos about me. A guy that doesn't even really exist yet. I'm pretty sure he's gone. He either sold his channel because there's like his channel's still there, but it's just a different guy, like a completely different dude. And I'm like, what the who's this guy? So
that's what I'm gonna do when I go out. I'm gonna sell my channel, and I'm gonna pretend like nothing happened. I'm gonna keep my Twitter and I'm gonna promote it. I'm gonna be like, no, that's really me. My voice just changed.
Yes, dude. Like, who was it? Somebody was trying to sell their channel for like $5 million recently.
Oh shit! I would sell it in a heartbeat. If somebody offered me $5 million, you got my channel right now.
Oh yeah, I would be like, bitches, I'm out. I'll see y'all later.
Yep.
I'm going to the beach.
It wouldn't even take. I mean, I'd drop it like a bad habit. I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, dude. I'd be like, oh, there goes all that stress, and I'd just start making like racing or other content on a different channel, or just streaming on a different channel.
Yeah, that'd be my thing. I would still be around probably, but I'd you know, let's travel the world and fuck off, folks. You know,
yeah, dude.
So if you got $5 million, let's do it.
Hell yeah! Speaking of traveling the world and fucking off, Hayden with a $100 super chat. Oh my god! Awesome stream tonight. Much love, Tug and Cody. Thank you, Hayden.
Hey, thanks,
that
man.
is officially the Rainbow Night. I appreciate you, Hayden, and Naked Snake. I thought we were gonna lose the streak. We have had Naked Snake 163 times in a row.
Damn, son, that's amazing.
For like a year and a half now, probably. And I was like, oh shit, it's finally gonna die today.
No, I don't want to be the one that broke that. Thank you.
Yeah, Doug. And you did not. So there you go. Because Hayden went ham as hell with $100 super chat. I appreciate you, Hayden. I love you. I will do Naked Snake right now in honor of the new announcement of Metal Gear Solid 3 being remade. So excited. I just hope they do their due diligence, man. I really, really do. I appreciate all of the support. Hayden, Shani, Ray, Mr. Hatcher went hard as hell tonight, trying to get us there. I appreciate all you bitches. You guys are goated as hell. Let's do this. I only know you as the jacked dude that can almost tune a piano well. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. You son of a bitch. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do Naked Snake in front of Tug, make him cringe a little, and then we're gonna get the hell off here.
All right, let's do it.
Do this shit. Where's my bandana? Where's my band? Oh, there it is. We're good. It's all good. I got it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. You guys are goated as hell. 164 times in a row. 164. Flawed TV, Core Black Garrett, Nick Ricada, and Boogie 2988, of course, Rich Review Tech, of course, and Zia, the girl, are the people that have done Naked Snake with me so far. I love that there's one girl. All right, popping the headset off, bitch. We're getting ready. Here we go. I'm searching, I'm melting too. This is for you, Tug. Let's go, boys. So oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Ooh, Snake Eater. In my time, there be nobody else. Mashed potato goblin. Woo-hoo. Crime. It's the way I fly to you. Sin. Oh my God, there's so many. I'm still in a dream. Snake eater. This is the best part, Tug. Ready? Yep. Someday you'll go away. Someday. Yeah. Get on it, doggone it. Look at all these ones. Lord Narco Wookie. Twisted Tragedy, Angel, Rudy Toot. Rudy damn Toot, son. Oh my God. I do have to say, if that song's not in the remake, I will fucking
You will fucking go ape shit. Yeah.
Did you see Yellow Flash? He's like, dude, he probably had to change his pants after this one. I was like, you damn straight, baby. Damn straight. Thank you, Rudy Toot. I love you. Mashed Potato Goblin. I love your name, bro. It just rolls off the tongue.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was telling him, man. I love that name.
It's just so good. It just rolls right off the tongue. Damn Stream Elements. Why the hell am I highlighting Stream Elements? It's in the trailer. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. Hell yes. Thank you. Lord Narcowicky, I appreciate you. Get on it. Tug should make his avatar a chest. Just a chest?
Just a chest.
Just a chest. No head, just chest. Furby Slayer, my boy. Get on it, doggone it. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are goated. Rebel Bird's in here. What's up? Here's the final titty flex. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. You guys are goated as hell. I love you. I appreciate you. Have you been to the gym recently? Yeah. I went to the gym today after loading loading one engine and unloading two engines in my truck. Because granted, I used an engine hoist because I can't deadlift 600 pounds. You know, I'm not that jacked. Sin8, love you. Appreciate you. Brandon Jensen, I love you. Appreciate you. You guys are goated as hell. Now Tug knows why we come here. Well, that's the whole point. Yeah, it's because I you take my
This
shirt
isn't
off.
the first time I've ever tuned into your channel, so I already know
Yeah,
what
dude.
goes on here. I know the degeneracy here. What's up?
Yeah, dude. That's what we do, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate that. Cody Swole. Thank you. That is why I do it. Just so you can say those words and give me affirmation and make me have a bigger ego. No, dude, for real. You see my mustache, obviously, Tug. I was at the gym and I tell this story a lot because I'm very proud of it. And there's this girl there, this like short little blonde girl. It's in kick-ass shape, beautiful girl. And I was in her way and she was moving a bench the other day. And I was like, okay, she's moving this bench, right? And I was in her way and I didn't know it. And she said, oh, excuse me. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. And then she was like, I love your mustache. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm never shaving this. Because, you know, us as men, we don't get compliments. It's not a thing.
Nope.
Right. So, like, it changed me. I was like, oh my God, I'll have to have this for the rest of my life. You know?
Yes, you didn't know how to respond. You were like, holy shit, a compliment.
Yeah. I literally just was like, oh. I literally just said, like, oh. Okay.
You're like, I know.
Yeah, same shit happens when people walk up to me and they're like, dude, oh my God, I love your channel. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm just not used to it. I'm getting a little bit better at it because I go into like live shows and shit now and doing live shows. But like then when it was first happening, dude, I was an awkward dumbass and I felt like an asshole. They probably think I'm an asshole because I was just like, oh, okay. You know, oh, that's weird.
I hear you, man. Like I had no idea how to handle like anime matsuri or anything. You know, it's like, oh, hey, man, people actually when you see people in real life, you know, it's like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. It's weird. Vanessa says, Tug, love your pickup artist avatar.
Thank you.
You changed so quickly. It looks delicious. It's beautiful. John Burt, appreciate you, dude. Love you. Cody actually, Carrie, all you do is shit on me. What are you talking about? You shit on me every day. I will get a Snapchat from you and I won't read it intentionally because I know it's going to be mean every day. Talk about how my penis is little, even though you've never seen it for some reason, but you always calling it little. Yeah, I know how you is. Girls think they're nice. I'm just playing around. Bitch, no, you're mean. You mean as hell.
I know Cody cries in my DMs all the time about it.
I do. I did that today. I was like, I have to start the stream a little bit late, man, because I'm crying really hard right now.
That's what it was. I was like, I got some virtual tissue. And he was like, aren't you a therapist? I was like, yeah, dude.
Tell me why the girls hate me. They only love me for 2 weeks and they don't want to talk to me anymore. Oh my God. I agree, daily dysfunction. With that, I appreciate you guys so much. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. I'm about to say we're 1 like from 800. Now we are at 800 likes. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, my boy Tug, dude. I'm glad you finally came on.
Yeah, brother.
It was a lot of fun. I went way longer than I normally go. I usually go 2 hours and we went 3 hours, but we started talking about getting messed up and I love talking.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I like cutting up and just talking about bullshit.
Let me Google. Let me look at something real quick. Who the hell's that? Who the hell? All right, sorry, I'm just looking at stuff. Oh, that looks cute. So I'm just looking at my feed real quick. I'm looking what is auto-populated right now. Who the hell is that? Hold on, sorry. I'm just doing my redirect, and it's recommending me people to redirect. I don't know who this is, but it's like on there, and I don't know who the hell this is. So I'm trying to Google it. Frank, who's this? Oh, it's just a dark face. It's just a pitch black face. I don't know who that is. All right. I think we're gonna do Zombies Go Numb tonight. We're gonna redirect to Zombies Go Numb. We're gonna raid my boy, give him some love. He's an awesome creator, dude. He's fantastic, dude. And then we'll start refreshing the list and we'll go back through them because I usually raid everybody once and I start going through my list again. I haven't done zombies in like a month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks probably. So we're going to raid Zombies Go Numb. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much to Hayden, the top dog with his red boy, Billy Hatcher, Shanny, and Ray Harlock, and everybody else too. There's like a billion people on here. I love you guys. I appreciate all that you do for me. Naked Snake did not die. It keeps going. Thank you. Until next time, get the hell on it, dog on it. Thank you again, Tug, for being a goat. Hell yeah. Say bye, Tug.
Yeah.